It is Saturday, March 9th, 2019. My name's Anthony, and I'm here with Michael, and this is TimeLaps, the podcast where cars and watches are the focus, but tangents are often the reality. Let's get into it. Welcome back.
We're back for another one.
Yeah, for episode 36.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it 36?
Yeah.
Okay.
And your eyes are not fooling you. Joe Sirocco did not come back from Calabria with a tan. This is Brandon. Round of applause for our next guest. Guest. Yeah, guest.
It's a real pleasure, honestly. It's a real pleasure to be out here.
That's fantastic. One thing we forgot to do, Brandon, is put that mic right in front of you.
Okay.
So
We can just go ahead and put that right.
No. The way you had it.
You can
Yeah,
use it
you're
from
fine.
the side.
Ooh.
So you want to be looking the Audio Technica. It's got to be right under your gorgeous beard there. That
Okay.
is a full out beard.
Now you can hear yourself.
Full on. Oh, yeah, that's right there.
Man, I'm here with a couple of bearded gents. I got like
Little
pubes on
raspy
my
ass?
face.
Nah, man, it's cool.
It's
My girlfriend
Thank
wants
you.
to keep my beard nice and short, and I'm just like, nah, you
You-
got to keep that thick.
you know what? I get from her point of view because she's got to rub up against that every time she wants to be intimate with you.
Exactly.
And you don't want, it's kind of prickly, but it's really something magical going on there.
I try and keep it moisturized. I'm like, I figured,
So you take that step. That's
I
good.
figured,
That's good.
try to groom it as much as possible. Make sure like the beard oil, conditioners in there. There's different washing methods, all sorts of different stuff.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
this is a podcast about beards.
Mhm.
I hope everyone's ready for this roller coaster. But no, we are very happy to have Brandon on the podcast today. A little bit of backstory how we met Brandon. All three of us here are part of Red Bar Toronto, and that's where we met you. However, previous to meeting you, I had seen your post because you, like myself, are a Mingaristi.
That's correct. That is correct.
And when I was looking for other Ming watches, searching the hashtags on Instagram, I saw one from Toronto and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God.
Which was the photo that you actually saw?
Oh man, it was one of the
geez.
first ones. It's of the
So
1701.
it's not difficult to find Ming photos.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
There's only so
Yeah,
many out
exactly.
there, right?
But if you noticed, he said Mingaristi.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a term we came up with.
We
Like
co-opted.
Panaristi.
Yeah.
I'm Ming.
Yeah,
just for
actually,
Mings.
meeting
We-
you, you
we've
were the one
coined
that
it.
coined that, and I was like, I like this. This is good because
It
I
rolls
feel
off
like
the tongue.
there's like a lot of people. The few people that are really into it, they are, and we gotta have to have a little nickname.
Definitely, and
Yeah.
especially to be able to spend. I mean, it's a significant amount of money for an entry level watch. To be
absolutely.
able to spend that money, you have to believe in the brand, and I think that you and I, and even Mikey, we can all agree that is one of those micro brands out there. They deserve your money. They deserve your funds because they come out with some fantastic pieces at great value.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get into all the watch talk, all that stuff, let's talk a little bit about you as a person. What are you about? Let's share with the people. How'd you get into watches? I mean, even beyond that.
Well, I've always been fascinated with jewelry, and I was actually a practicing actor, training in
Oh.
different methods, vocal acting, dance, up until I think 18, 19. And after getting out of school and getting out into the real world, I realized it wasn't really necessarily the job field for myself. So I then was working 2 jobs downtown, got interested in the jewelry field. And through my interest in the jewelry field, I figured, this is a great professional I want to get into. So I had some people downtown that kind of, they helped me and trained me into how I can kind of gain profits from just being like a middleman.
Interesting. So you're talking about the retail side.
This
of
is the
jewelry.
retail side. And this is before like actual, any type of school, because I went to school as a goldsmith at George Brown.
Oh, wow.
Didn't finish the program for 2 years. I figured year and a half in, I knew what I was doing. I had already had enough sales experience. I was at European Jewelry at that time.
Okay.
So I went to school. I got the job at European Jewelry. I figured this is great. I'm getting my retail experience like they told me to, and I'm going to learn actually how to make the jewelry. So I figured I was going to be selling jewelry all the time. And then watches became like this thing. Like I was just kind of getting into vintage right before I got the gig.
What year are we talking about here?
This is 2014.
Okay, so this is still like the infancy of Hodinkee.
Yeah.
Like the infancy of this wave that we're still riding.
Absolutely.
So I just want to get like a
Time
sense,
frame.
right?
Yeah.
Do you think that had you not had that background in jewelry and with the goldsmith education and everything like that, would you still have gone into watches?
I was already starting to get into watches, but maybe I would say probably not as much. I was fortunate enough to be to have a lot of great mentors around me in the business. Two gentlemen at Rock City, which is the jewelry store downtown off of like Yonge and Dundas, that helped me get into being the middleman, just buying something off of you for a decent price that you can profit and I can profit, and putting a markup and then selling it to you at still a great price.
Of course, yeah.
So that was kind of like the basis of some education. I went to school. When I was at European Jewelry, my manager Gerard was like, "Hey, I'm going to train you on watches," and he was very, very particular. He said, "Look, you can either tell me you know about watches, and I'm going to give you the quick overview, or you can tell me you don't know anything, and I'll teach you everything I know." And I'm being humbled, Brandon. I said, "Oh, I don't know anything."
Of course.
I heard something about like a 750, something like that, and a 2824. And he's like, "What do you know about that?" I was like, I don't freaking know. So he then proceeded, was like, we sold Swatch Group, we sold Tag, LVMH, and he was just like, each day you're gonna study 2 brands. Here's the catalog. You're gonna read upon the history. You're gonna take notes, and then I'm gonna quiz you after. And you're also going to know product line.
That sounds like the most fun job of all time, but continue.
Yeah, he said, like, you're not allowed to sell. Like, at that point, I knew something at that point, and I wanted to, was eager, because I'm a talkative type. But he's like, no, can't sell anything until you know all the brands first.
Can I, just a side thing here, why I think that's so important? Mikey and I have spent considerable amount of time in boutiques. And you go to a boutique, much like you go into a car dealership, expecting the salesman to know what they're talking about.
And they don't.
And they don't. We live in a time where anyone can, especially watches, anyone can do their research and learn tons. And obviously, it's unrealistic to expect a salesman to be able to answer every single question about one specific watch. However, I have been like, my mind has been blown by how little some salesmen know.
And it's so refreshing to interact with someone that knows so much.
Yeah, the experience is just better for you and for the salesman. Like, because you can tell they're having fun, not just talking about the end price. They're actually talking about what they sell, and they love what they sell.
Yeah, and seeing going over to a boutique, any boutique, and speaking with someone that is actually passionate about the brand from a legitimate sense. Of course, they're still trying to make a sale, but it comes through in the whole presentation.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's not enough people in the business that are doing that. And it kind of breaks my heart, because being on the sales side, you're just like, how many great brands are just not selling their product because they just have people that are only in it just to sell?
Of course.
Or they don't even care to really know the history. You mentioned something, they're like, let me go run the back and check.
Yeah. That's happened to me too many times. Like, even at an Omega branch where you see the guys wearing like a proper watch. It'll be like a newer Speedmaster, like a nice reference.
Yeah.
But he just like you'll not quiz him, but you'll ask him stuff about like a Speedy Professional, which is a pretty straightforward watch.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to tell you specific things. Like, one guy told me that it was a hacking watch, and I thought, I've never actually seen the secondhand stop on a Speedy Professional. It's a very old movement, and back then in the 321 caliber did not have hacking. And he told me, no, look, the secondhand stops. It didn't stop. So, like, it's a very small thing, very specific.
It can be a lot simpler than that. When I went and bought the Oris, the pilot, the Pro Pilot, it's a screw down crown. They didn't know how to pop out the crown.
Oh,
that's
my
terrible.
God.
That's terrible. You almost
like I knew what I was buying. I went in there with the attention exactly. I knew exactly what I wanted, so I didn't need them to show me how to do it. But it's just a show of like, come on, you got to be a little bit more in tune with your product and
never let the customer think you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's like sales 101.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, much like the car business, now consumers are so well educated.
That's right.
You have to stay on top of your game. But continue.
It's funny though, because like even as a sales associate, we talk to people that even run the brands, and they're like, look, there's going to be people that are know-it-alls. You just have to be on top of your stuff.
Yeah.
Certain brands have training modules to learn about the brand, like specifically Breitling. There's a whole online training that you get, like different badges. It's kind of cool. It's a little game, but ultimately it's product knowledge, product history. They quiz you, and you have to pass these things to get certificates to actually sell their products.
Definitely.
So cut back to training. That's what I did. I literally learned every single piece of information from the catalogs. Gerard was the one that quizzed me. He's over at European Jewelry at Square One. Still is there. An amazing guy. Very humble to work with him. He was a pain in the ass to work with, but if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't know as much because he had the he took the time to make sure I learned everything. Yeah. And then from there, that was like the solid kind of base to be like, okay, boom, let's go take a look into vintage.
For sure.
And then once I started looking at lawn, I was amazing. I was like amazed at tags at that point. So you could tell I was like, oh, whatever.
Dipping your feet in the water.
Dipping my feet, right? And then once I got to lawn jeans, I was like, wow, blown away from the history, blown away from the provenance. And then I started digging into their vintage watches, specifically the Ultrachron, the caliber 431, high beat movement.
High beat, yeah,
36,000, and I was like, that's the vintage watch I want to buy, because I also looked at Gerard Perregaux, and I think they were the one that created the high beat movement at 36.
Oh wow, okay.
So they first made it a few years after Longines made their 431, and then even Zodiac had a high beat SST, 36,000 beat caliber. But I was just in love with the Ultrachron, and I think the Gerard Perregaux just was a little bit too expensive. So
yeah.
I ordered one online from Italy, because that's like, let's be real, it's like the place to get vintage watches.
I see so many. I mean,
I've noticed
looking, you saw a Speedy in Italy, but it was like a white. It was white.
Yeah, it
dial?
was like gold. It was a spec only made for the Italian market.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was from like 1993, so it's not that old. But yeah, it was from Italy.
Yeah,
spec meaning the only watch you can wear with a suit, and also while on the farm picking olives. That's what we mean. No, it definitely is a haven for watch enthusiasts, watch lovers, because it's one of the style capital of the world of the world's style capitals of the world. Yeah. But okay, very cool. So you moved on from obviously European boutique. You don't still work there, do you?
No, I don't work there anymore. I just have great relations with all the associates there,
of course,
and management and the owners. I long debated even now. Like I was like, oh, do I jump back in just to make some extra sales on the weekend? But I love my weekends so much that I can't bring myself to go back. So.
Hey man, retail's a hard gig. I working in the dealership. I'm not in sales. I'm in service. So luckily enough, the weekends don't really matter too much for me. But the sales guys, their thing is they have to be there every single Saturday. They got to show up. They got to make sales, because that's one of the busiest selling days of the week.
Of the weekend. Yeah.
So, but that's pretty cool. So what are you doing now? What's your gig now?
So I crossed over into some corporate life, because I moved from European Jewelry to Burke's. Burke's Group was great. Just crazy hours. I needed some like 9 to 5, 1 to 9, but like Saturdays and Sundays off for my peace of mind. And also I wanted to be able to see my family. I wasn't seeing anybody. I was missing out on all sorts of
especially working in the mall with mall hours around the holidays.
Yep. It's terrible, and it just became, I love watches, but now it's miserable. So I decided to move on to Cogeco Telecommunications. I work as a loyalty and disconnection rep in their customer relations queue.
Cool.
We're like tier 2. You have to transfer like 30 billion times before you get to us, and we solve all your problems. You want a cheaper bill? Okay, we'll give you some promotions, yada yada yada. I just do that right now just so I can get corporate experience and go into their business side. So I'm basically just in residential. I want to go to business and be a sales rep there, and ultimately I'm trying to get to the position of account sales rep, which I can then take back to the watches.
I like your route here.
Yeah, it's kind of full circle. You can't you can't work for a jewelry brand, like a jewelry company that sells X, Y, and Z brands, and then go and solicit yourself to work for them. Yeah, you got to leave. So I took a risk. I said, I'll take a safe risk. I'll get a cool 9 to 5. It's boring, but it pays the bills, and that's all good. I know exactly what I want to do. I'm already applying for those positions internally, and they know that. Yeah. And once I get that position, I'm just come back to watches and be an account sales rep for a brand. For sure. So hopefully in another 3 years, I'll be dipping and dabbing in the watch market again.
I'm excited for that. Can I ask what brands are your top 3 right now that you'd love to work for?
Oh my goodness! I think we just heard the GoPro.
We heard a beep and one of them.
I think it's my GoPro that automatically shut off.
I think so.
You guys are good. I got word that Hamilton was opening up for some positions, so I'm definitely interested in Hamilton.
Hamilton's a cool brand.
They're just a cool brand. I'm not too picky. I'd pretty much dabble with, most of the Swatch group. Hopefully not like Kenneth Cole and Flick Flack. And yeah, I want like some good brands.
What is Flick Flack? I've heard of it, but I don't know
Oh my god, I gotta be honest with you, I don't know. That's like those
sounds.
I think it's like Flick Flack, and then you get like Cool Swatch.
Yeah.
I think it's like Flick Flack and Kenneth Cole as like their bottom barrel, whatever. I don't know. I think they're popular, kind of like
we'll call them airport watches.
Yeah.
You're passing through somewhere. It's
you buy it
cheap,
for fun.
Yeah, you buy it
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Swatch is the perfect like destination cheap boutique thing.
You buy something and you're like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm buying it, and didn't kill you.
Exactly.
In
And there's Swatch locations all over the world. In Aruba, before I bought my Seamaster, I had to walk by a Swatch boutique, and I was like, I should go check it out. What they got in there? No System 51s.
No,
they're not looking to push those. They're just
No.
pushing like the quirky, weird,
Yeah.
a palm tree ticking.
Yeah. But hey, someone wants that.
Yeah. Still fun in watches is
Yeah.
what it is. Like
Yeah.
it's fun, something to dress up, and that's
So-
pretty cool.
Like going back to your question though, like the brands I think I would want to work for, I think coming full circle, I would love to work for Longines.
Yeah.
100%. I would love to work for Longines. I would really, really enjoy working for Breitling actually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've spent enough time like being a sales associate for an authorized retailer with them, going out to the training events, going out to the regular events, and they're really cool. I feel like there's like a lot of underratedness that a lot of like I feel like fine collectors don't give them enough kind of kudos to.
Can I give you guys my opinion on why?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the ETA base that
Yeah.
they put and the price range. A lot of Breitlings are priced higher than a lot of Omegas, for example.
For sure.
When they're using what people would consider the same movement. And the Breitling range is very sort of, I think it's kind of narrow.
They're narrowing it down though. It used to be super wide.
Really?
So like they had like 12 collections in total.
Okay.
And this is literally straight out of the book right before I left. So right before they sold it, right? And the gentleman from IWC took over. He's now the I think like the VP, maybe not VP sales. He's just running it.
Okay.
So they had 12 collections, and like that was like Galactic, that was the Professional.
See, I don't even know.
Transocean, all these different
No,
models,
yeah.
and including Avenger. There was different versions of Avenger. Just so many, and then they decided to narrow it down. So they're bringing like Avenger and like Navitime. Well, no, Navitimer is going to be standing alone, but they have their own additional Navitimers. But they're bringing it down to like a collection of 7.
I think that's a good idea.
Because there's too many like overlapping collections. Like Mount Brilliant is basically a Navitimer in a smaller case with a more of a vintage style dial.
Interesting. Huh. I've never even seen these watches.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
They're actually really nice. And going back to the ETA thing, I think a lot of buyers are like that as well. They're like, well, for this like really dressed up ETA that they do a lot of in-house stuff with, it's kind of at the same value proposition. You can get something a little more in-house, quote unquote, right? So I do understand that.
Yeah, I think they also have to step up their marketing.
They're changing it around now. They're really focusing on the pilot thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen like maybe they have like their their different like brand ambassador squad on a mission.
I saw that on their website. They got like 3 standing there.
I think the brand ambassador thing is kind of cheesy in all of its sense, just like across the board.
Sure, we've talked about that on the podcast.
So it's a little crazy, but ultimately,
Rolex recently released a similar thing with all those movie producers.
Yeah.
It's a similar squad idea.
But for people that are already into watches, we don't need celebrities to sell us watches.
Right.
Yeah. Probably for people that don't buy watches, they need that. So perhaps
I have a
who
feeling
knows?
there's probably more people that don't know watches and that would see that celebrity and say, "Ooh, David Beckham's wearing that Tudor. I'm gonna buy it."
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So
people,
unfortunately, that's the way it is.
That's what happens though. Like some people would walk into the boutique and be like, "Oh, I saw that watch on the billboard and this guy was wearing it. I love it ever since I seen it." And I'm like, "You're a sucker, but I'll sell you the watch."
Yeah, of course. I'll be honest. I mean, for me, the Seamaster, beyond the like, it's always had that Bond affiliation. As far as I've known, I know the Sub was the previous Bond watch.
Original.
That's kind of different though. It's not the same thing as.
It's not an actor. It's an
he's
idea.
a character.
Yeah.
It's an iconic character.
Yeah.
For one, and it's been featured for so many years in that thing. It's not Lady Gaga sitting on the front of
I was gonna
sitting on front of Tudor's.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you see when you open up Tudor's website is Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, and I'm like, I don't think Lady Gaga watches ever, ever, and I don't want to buy a Tudor more that she's now a rep.
I saw her being a brand ambassador for another brand, and I don't remember what it was specifically, but here I thought, because it was right after was it the Grammys that she played the piano with Bradley Cooper and they were in love, and I thought, here's an IWC
Grammys and the Oscars.
Okay, yeah. Here's an IWC rep, and then she was repping this other company that was better than Tudor. I can't, like, when I say better, I mean like
higher in provenance.
Yeah, I can't remember what it
Actually,
was.
interesting thing with that at the Oscars, Bradley Cooper was wearing a Big Pilot, and they auctioned that off for charity.
Yeah, I heard
that same
that's
one.
nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything to make money.
Definitely. But before we get more into watches, I think we should talk a little bit about cars, because you are a bit of a car nut. And I don't know, Mike, what do you think? Is it an awkward transition? I might as well bring it up because
I wasn't going to say anything.
Smooth.
Son of a bitch. He's giving me a fucking, what do you call it? He's giving me like an insecurity about my transitions. I always, yeah. But of course, like, because we talk a lot about cars here.
For sure.
Now, Geneva just happened, but we probably won't get into that. Did you follow the Geneva Auto Show at all?
No.
It's been a lot of, and actually Chris Harris, he's an automotive journalist, brought everyone's attention to this.
He said it so well.
Yeah.
I love that.
I got a sum up. I got like a one sentence sum up of everything.
Yeah. It's all hypercars. Luxury hypercars and EVs.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
basically what he said was it's all super expensive cars that what did he say? Gets YouTube influencers wet.
That's right. That's exactly
and destroys the car market.
Yeah.
Because they're all unattainable, except for like people like Vehicle Virgins there. What the?
Oh, I don't know what
that
he's
loser's
doing.
name.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry if he's like, no, he's not watching this,
He's
but
got quite the collection.
I don't like his content. You say it's gotten
he's
better.
a watch guy too. He wears an AP, but then
he pushes Vincero.
Yeah.
Now hold on, him pushing Vincero, I don't like, but the straight pipes pushes Vincero, and that's fine because I think that's okay. Because they're Canadian and I like them, but
gotta rep Canada when you can.
Of course,
why not?
When that guy pushes Vincero, it's just like he's so much more skeevy. Like, I don't know.
What's your opinion on that, Brandon? When people you see every day in their videos wearing like quality watches, but then push Vincero to their audience,
it's weird. Sometimes you feel like it might be a little inauthentic. Perhaps.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just preference. People are nuts. I don't know. I drive a Subaru Forester. It's a 2.5, and I want to put canards on the goddamn thing. I don't care. I want to.
That's where the idea of buy what you like, not what other people want you to buy.
Exactly.
And we've had to like kind of like restrain ourselves, I think, a little bit, because when I think we've both grown a little bit, maybe with regards to fashion watches. Yeah. But when we started out like a year ago, I was
you
like,
were
I wanted a campaign to take down Vincero and MVMT, and then I'm realizing I bought an original grain, and when I first got it, I thought it was cool. I put it in my dad's cigar humidor because it was made of wood, and I thought it was quirky. It ultimately was not a good watch. I sold it because I just fell out of love with the style.
You sold it.
Well, the gentleman I work with, he likes wood watches, so he purchased it.
Was that an automatic, by the way?
Absolutely not. No. It was. But I will say one thing: when I bought,
what was the price of it?
It's $250, I think, US. And yes, that's where
I think we all cringe now hearing that, but it's okay.
That's where enthusiasts have a problem.
And you grow from that.
Is that the money? Like, there's a girl I work with who she just congratulations, Maria, by the way, she just finished her program for paralegal. And I don't know if she wants to buy a watch to celebrate or because now she's working in a law firm and she wants to buy a nice daily. And she was looking at I don't know if it was MVMT. It was Daniel Wellington.
Yep.
And a year ago I would have been like, give me your computer.
Throw it.
But I said, no. I mean, if you like the style, that's fine. It's a modern style. It's minimalist. Like, it's a pretty watch. Yeah. But before you spend, and I checked, 250 Canadian.
Yeah, they're
Daniel
expensive.
Wellington. I said, before you spend 250 or 280 Canadian, let me show you what Tissot has. And for $100 more, she could get I think it was an automatic Tissot.
That's right.
That's a watch that'll last the rest of her life. That's a watch you can pass down to her children.
Yeah.
The MVMT is a watch that you end up throwing away when the battery dies.
That's right. Or when the plating comes off.
Yeah.
Or when
it's not in style anymore.
That's right. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
They fly by night. And that's, again, it's okay for them to exist. But as a watch enthusiast, when you spend so much time valuing things, there is a little bit of like inner anger, but I want to say pride. Like,
it's like
you kind of hold yourself to a higher standard sometimes, and that's a little bit of like thing. But that's why it's so hard to hear people buying fashion watches, and being you know.
Well, and that brings it back to like the influencers, like supposed watch enthusiasts. You can inform someone in a direction to go rather than saying, "Oh, don't just buy that. Don't buy it." Inform them. Say, "You can get that, but at this, you can get this for that much better."
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's where I see these YouTube influencers kind of. That's why maybe I don't agree with it. Because they're pushing this brand, saying, "Oh, buy it." Well, but then obviously you wouldn't see them wearing it.
But they're not pushing that brand. Like, we'll use the straight pipes as an example. They're probably not pushing that brand because they actually enjoy Vincero. It's because
obviously
a big check is coming and they need it to
of
keep
course.
their content.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah. So
I mean, like if a big check came our way, we're in a little bit different realm. But let's say what's something we don't know anything about? Ziploc bags. If a big check came from the No Name brand saying, "Hey man, we're gonna give you $50,000 to plug our brand," I'm just gonna use an arbitrary number.
Yeah,
to plug our brand of bags, we'd plug them because whatever. We don't talk about Ziploc bags.
But you're not considering yourself a Ziploc bag enthusiast.
How do you know?
It's true though.
Hey, you're not a self-proclaimed Ziploc bag enthusiast.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's not the beef.
At some point or another, someone's gonna sell out for the right dollar.
Sure.
And I think that's the ultimate fact. Unless you have a platform and I guess enough money that you could say, you know what, it's okay. I'm gonna stay true to what I believe and push the check away. But clearly, even people like Lady Gaga can get a decent sized check from Tudor and say, "Hey, I'm wearing what is it, the Black Bay 36?"
Yeah. Who the hell buys that?
Or David Beckham wearing an S&G.
Oh my God! You just reminded me of that.
It almost makes me want to not buy the watches because I see them there. But anyway,
Tudor's definitely doing better than they did in the early 2000s. I think. I think they got rid of most of their quartz pieces. But like, there's maybe the Pelagos.
Yeah.
Some people say
Pelagos.
Yeah. I like that watch. I like the some of the Black Bay. Obviously the GMT because all the hype around that.
S&G. Dirty little secret. Hey.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't buy. The thing is, I look at it as a watch that I want to buy my father, and I even said it to my mom. I said, "This is the watch I want to buy Dad," because we went to New York. Random side story. We went to New York. I was still into fake watches. Yes, Brandon Bally was into fake watches.
What? No.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Back in the day.
Only on TimeLaps podcast.
Back in the day. Dirty little secrets. But hey, whatever. We're here. We're talking.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I was like, "Yo, Dad, like we're on Canal Street." I'm like, I'm gonna get like a couple all gold presidents. I got one for myself and my cousin. All right, with the diamond dial.
Oh man. The fakest.
Yeah, and I said like we can get a deal if we get 3. So like, do you want to get this diver, the 2-tone diver? And he got it. And I swear to God, like he's seen my full on transition to watches. I'm like, Dad, we should stop buying that. We should stop wearing that.
Yeah.
I'll give you like a Boulevard. I'll give you all sorts of other things. That guy still wears it.
Really? Well, you know what? Maybe because it's tied into that memory of you guys buying it there together. And
No.
No.
He's Trinidadian. He likes gold.
I'm trying to
he likes gold. It doesn't matter that it's fake. He just likes gold. So it doesn't matter what I'm going to buy him. He's probably still going to pick it up just because it's 40 millimeters is the right size, but because it's 2-tone, it just matches his gold chain and everything. So I figured he'll never say he wants a Rolex. He doesn't even understand that he wants a Rolex, but he does for this fear fact that he wears it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to give him the Tudor one day, and he's going to be a happy man.
Definitely.
And I'm also going to be like, you're never wearing this again.
Yeah, he's going to, when he's not looking.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. But let's get back to the Subaru, because I know we got tons of watch stuff coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about cars a little bit for the people who are only here for the cars. You have a Subaru Forester.
Yeah, 2016 touring.
And you don't just do the daily run with it.
No.
Like if you guys follow him on Instagram, it's at B412. I'll let you figure out how to spell it.
We'll post it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you actually off-road with this thing. Like
That's
you do some proper stuff. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that because
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So when I got the car in late August, I was already stoked. I had plans to like jack it up 2 inches and kind of go for the Overlander build. My brother,
Toyota Land Cruiser-ish.
yeah. And I think I'm scrapping the idea of lifting it, but me and my brother, he drives a Jeep, by the way.
Oh, cool.
One of those 4-door Rubicons.
Really
Cool. And we went out to Bob Cajun's Concession Lake Road Trail in the Labor Day weekend. So it was nice and dry. I have the footage up on Instagram, and I'll probably put it on my channel eventually, YouTube channel coming soon. Nice. And we were just driving. It was awesome. So like it was me, my brother, and then another one of our friends, and he had never really gone off-road, and he was so impressed because I would take the lead every now and again, and he's like, yo, the car looks so smooth going over everything, the articulation, and it's such a pleasant car. I was driving with tires that probably no one would in the right mind should go off-roading with. They were all seasons, and they were definitely getting bald
From the factory, but with kilometers on them. So they were not suitable, but
no, but I didn't have to deflate or anything. I never got stuck. I went up crazy high hills. It has the X mode, so I played around with X mode going down on descent and just letting the car automatically brake, and it works amazingly. They're really cool. So off-roading is an amazing thing with the Forester, but I figured out it's awesome just being an all-terrain kind of rally car. That's what I'm focusing now. I'm just kind of like just grooming it towards being a rally car. And like whenever I go up to Blue Mountain, I'm just shaving off time. You know, it's like is it an hour and 45 minutes or is it an hour and 35 minutes?
Yep.
And we're taking side roads. Like even the other day, I went out to Mount St. Louis last week, Thursday. And
I think I saw on your Instagram, yeah.
Last week, Thursday, Wednesday, and I went with my 2 buddies, and we were in like the back roads. So it's like icy gravel. I have the really nice tires right now, wicked all terrains.
Nice.
They're winter rated, so they're good for ice and good for snow.
Which ones are they?
They're the Yokohama GL-Lander G015s.
I've heard of them before.
Yeah.
We don't sell them at Honda, but I've heard of them before.
Yeah, in 17-inch, 225 wide, and they're just perfect. And I drifted that thing literally parallel right between the snowbanks. These guys are freaking out a bit. It's also dark too. So
even better.
Lights are on, and I'm like going 80 kilometers in the dark.
Oh my!
In the side roads there. We went over a crest. You just saw the car like there was nothing. The guy in the back is like, I don't even see what's in front of us. We just land, and we're still going down. I put in the paddle shifter and started engine braking for you. Actually hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Shot up. It was great.
It's incredible to hear that. I mean, when they built that vehicle, they overbuilt the all-wheel drive system, right? I think a lot of people buy that car for the practicality. It's a larger vehicle. Yeah. But it's awesome to hear that you can rip that thing around like it is an STI, like it is a car, and it's
meant to be driven. And you guys should definitely come out for me just for a little drive.
100%.
It's awesome.
Definitely.
It's awesome.
Yeah. We've we haven't really done any off-roading in vehicles. We've done some.
I'm
off-roading.
ashamed to say.
Yeah, he's got the Raptor, but your Raptor set up for like Baja more than anything. You can go off-roading.
No, you can go off-roading.
100%. I'm scared to do that. I don't.
What do you mean?
It's a big car. I get that. I mean, you're a bit of a puss.
Damage.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so expensive to fix.
You know what? Like with your car, I'm telling you, like we'll organize something like
100. I'm down.
In summer,
100%,
the Bob Cajun Concession Lake Trail is a pretty easy one when it's dry. Yeah. It's one big loop. We didn't even go the whole loop actually. We spent like 2 hours on the trail, then turned around. Yeah.
Was it like a forest trail or?
It's a forest trail. It's a forest trail. There isn't really any super technical parts. It depends on, of course, like is it rained out?
Yeah.
There are some like boggy sections you can fly through. I didn't really feel like getting stuck in the Forester without like good tires. So.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been in that situation before. We had a friend get stuck in an F-150.
It wasn't in a forest. It wasn't off-roading. He was on a lawn.
It was a muddy lawn.
What? Does it have high
shout out Alex for your he drives an F-150 FX4, so it's spec'd for off-roading.
And he had the Mickey Thompsons on it.
It was lifted, spaced with big Mickey Thompson tires, and
But what kind of
It's
gear
a
terrain
we're
ratio
gonna call
does
this
it
a
have?
steering spacer issue.
Yeah,
So steering spacer is the driver.
aka driver error.
Yeah, driver error.
It's one of those
Pilot
things.
error.
You would know this from off-roading. If you take it too slow and you encounter a bit of muck,
Yeah.
and then you bury the gas, you're just gonna sink
you're sinking
into the muck.
You got to modulate through it. And,
Yeah.
You got to keep your speed through the whole thing.
But this was just a
Oh, you're just whipping it and whipping
digging
it.
himself.
Yeah, no, and that's
to the point where the center of the car was lifted on mud. So that's
Oh
why
yeah,
I couldn't
it was
move
deep. It was
if you
bad.
dig it out to the point where the axles are resting on the ground, good luck, you're done.
And then what
that's
happened? We brought in what was it? A
backhoe.
small backhoe.
Oh,
Yeah,
It
this is
was
at a
one on the
friend's
property.
that,
And the backhoe got stuck.
wow.
It was muddy. It was
It
muddy.
was muddy. Yeah. The thing is, like, when it's muddy and you can tell like everything's not too like it's pretty level, you might as well just keep it on gas.
Yeah.
And because you can just blast through sections. You know what I mean?
The geography is what fucked him because it looks like a lawn. It's just a grass thing, but it's at the bottom of a big hill. Hopefully this can all get on the camera. So all the water comes down the hill and
collects.
It's collected
sits in
right
this bed
there.
of grass. And as he, I guess, was trying to slide, because that's what he was fucking around.
I mean,
He's
here,
trying to
you know what? I had
live.
identical truck, exactly the same to the year, with stock tires, Pirelli Scorpions, and I made it through.
Okay, well, I mean,
Pilot
you've also done some other like I remember when we were younger, we'd go to Blue Mountain, and there's one. You know how they have the roundabouts when you're entering.
Well, yeah, I'm
close to
just
the village?
skilled.
Well, whatever. I'll give you a little bit of credit where it's due. You should see him on a dirt bike. He's like a ballerina. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
But he had the Dodge Ram. It was a 1500, but it was
Yeah,
a
it was like a
90s era.
No,
1500.
2001 1500 V8 Mag.
Yeah.
Oh, those are really cool, man.
Oh man, he would just
Straight
crank
pipe.
the wheel and
And then
sideways around that
boom.
whole thing. I was shitting my pants, but yeah.
I held it.
Yeah, you held it.
Great,
You were
yeah.
good. You were good. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really impressive. Any other mods to the Forester? As of right now?
I mean, like I tossed on the tires. Everything really besides that is pretty aesthetic. I mean, I just decided to put full LEDs, everything inside of the car.
Good call.
The door wells for the passenger and the driver's side in the front. Everything in the headlights are LEDs at this point. I put on I changed the air filter to like something like an AEM dry filter.
Yeah.
It's a little better, but I want to change that up. Like I want to put a Takeda AFE cold air intake.
Yeah.
It actually it works with the factory air box, which I really like because they make them really well. Like the scoop on that thing is really, really good. So you get a really great directional flow straight from the grill. So you're not kind of just hanging out with ambient air from the air bay, which a lot of short Rams and certain air boxes kind of just do. So it clips in, which is really nice. So that is probably something on the to-do list. Probably grabbing a strut bar brace
For the engine bay?
for the engine bay.
Yeah.
A little bit of dress up, a little bit of practicality because I do like to corner the hell out of that car.
Yeah. It'll definitely add some stiffness to it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like as much as I do off-roading, most of the driving is 80% on road. So, and then if I really want to get crazy technical off-roading, I'm just going to park on the side and then just jump in my brother's Jeep.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. So, that's what I want to do right now. And there are plans for rims coming soon.
Are you thinking more like utilitarian style rims, like off-road gold?
Gold rims, man. It's a Subaru.
Oh, okay.
True.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you have to give me the image. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What were they? There's two. There's Motegis that are really cool. They're built on a rally platform.
Okay.
Then there are these other ones that are
Enki?
they're not. No, they're the same brand that makes Oz, but they're the other little brand.
OZ.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
called them OZ forever.
There's Oz. What are they? I have them like literally bookmarked. Because T-Dot Performance sells them so cheap. What are they? The Motegis. Like I have literally everything posted in there. One's Motegi and the other one is I've lost it. It'll come back to me.
But it's still a gold.
They're a gold.
sport.
They're a gold rally rim.
Yeah.
Specifically rally rims. Because rally
That's
building that
100%.
is going down on the car in terms of performance. I'm not really focusing on trying to boost the engine because it's not a turbo vehicle. It's a 2.5.
Oh, it's naturally aspirated.
That's naturally aspirated.
Mm-hmm.
The XDs are the 2.0s.
I see.
The older Foresters had 2.5 turbos. Those were in the wicked
That's
days.
a WRX motor, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same one in WX. I didn't buy the XT just because I figured first car, I'm going to be sinking all the money into it.
Yeah.
And I already feel like partially is, so I'm just going to do with like what makes me feel good. I think I would love to do toss on the WRX. A lot of things are bolt-on, so I want to toss on the WRX mid-pipe, turn it into a dual exhaust. There's like one less resonator in that thing, so it has a bit more flow and it sounds way nicer.
I've heard the WRX mid pipe on a non-WRX Impreza.
Yeah,
and it sounded a lot beefier.
Oh my
like,
god!
It's instead
really
of
good.
it's like a
it's
at idle. It's nice.
Yeah.
They really work well.
Yeah, I have an axle back exhaust on it with a only like a 5-inch muffler, so it's loud. You'll hear it when I roll up and
Definitely
5 inches. That's pretty big.
yeah.
Oh, muffler.
The
muffler. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For most cars, most turbo cars, I learned this when I was doing all the mods on my car. 3-inch downpipe, which is massive.
That's what I had on the Audi.
Yeah, that's for most turbocharged cars. That's the downpipe. That's where it's coming off of like the manifold.
Yeah.
And then usually you get a little bit bigger towards the muffler area, so you get that nice sound.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff you mentioned, I had done on my Accord. I did the short ram intake, but the factory intakes on these cars are so well engineered. We live in an era where all the plastic moldings and things you see are they spend years developing those things.
I know.
So it's good to use whatever factory stuff you have. When you see those people like me who just put the short ram because it costs less money, you're sucking in just hot air from the engine. There's no they use all the channeling to get rid of turbulent air.
That's
so
right.
It's nice and smooth. But I didn't do that. I did a full exhaust. I did upgrade my rear sway bar. You'd be surprised how much changing stiffness of the vehicle, turn in on my car. I drive a 2016 Honda Accord, which obviously viewers know. Talk about it all the time.
It's not outside actually.
No, it's in the garage. Yeah. But when I upgraded the rear sway bar, it changed the turn in.
Amazing,
right away. Yeah, because it's so stiff, the rear just wants to come around and hook. There's no more leniency in it.
Yeah, so like. The sway bars are something that I was talking to other people like in the States that they've done with their Foresters, and it's a great upgrade.
Definitely.
Some people lower it. I want my factory clearance. It's 8.5 inches of height, and it's perfect for me because I still do off-roading.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to bottom out and not scratch anything or climb up a hill or not have those issues.
Keep the spirit of the car there. That's one thing that I fucked up. But when I did my car, I got rid of all. Like, it just didn't feel like a Honda Accord anymore. It felt like it was trying to be something it wasn't. It's a front-wheel drive coupe. Didn't need everything I did to it. I lost a lot of back pressure putting the exhaust on, so I lost some torque. And
really?
Yeah, and it was fun to rev out, but it wasn't fun enough. So I ended up putting everything back to stock, suspension and everything. I had it lowered on coils.
Wow.
Upgraded sway bar,
Yeah.
I had nice Pirellis, or not Pirellis, Michelin
looked really
Pilot
good.
Sports. Yeah, I still keep the photos at work, but but then I started putting money into the bikes and stuff. So
nice.
But yeah,
there's a few other things I want to do with the Forester, and I finally did some research last night and realized you can buy a lot of totaled parts from totaled cars. And I was like, holy crap! Like one thing that they didn't do on the 2016 Forester, which I'm still in disbelief, is the 2015 and 14 Foresters had the Boomerang C light. Yeah, it's like a daytime runner. It just has that C light, right?
I've seen it. Yeah.
2015 has it. 2014 has it. 2016 they said fuck it, and
Why?
then back on the 2017 as standard. And I was like, what the hell is this? So I want to replace those. I know it's so silly, so and it's purely aesthetic. I want to change that, but I want to pick up STI brakes.
That is a good idea.
I want to pick up
on
STI
paper.
brakes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I upgraded the brakes on my car to fixed calipers.
Yeah.
Like what the STI has. I'll tell you right now, the caliper looks great.
Yeah.
But you have to then change the
wheels because you need spacing for that because they're way wider.
Exactly. And they're heavy as shit. So what I found was the increase in braking performance I barely felt because the brake booster's the same. So your pedal travel's the same. The only time I really noticed it, if I was flying to an on-ramp, I would notice that I wouldn't have to hold the brake as long, but it was so minor. Now, keep in mind, these were Acura RL calipers that were retrofitted to fit on my Accord.
Yeah.
So they were 4-piston fixed calipers. They were beefy. Maybe the SDI ones work better. Maybe your brake booster is more advanced than mine. But it was more of an aesthetic thing for me at the end of the day. It didn't give me that much more braking performance.
Okay, so then general question. So like that brake booster, like you ever see those like it's like it's another thing that goes on top of where like the brake I don't know the brake booster is, it holds it down. It's like a clamp basically, and it helps the braking flex of that pod like get minimized, so you get more braking efficiency. I hear that's like so minimal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically because when you look in your engine bay, you have your brake fluid cap. Below that, you'll see the booster, and then obviously everything going down to the lines.
Yeah, it holds like clamps one of those parts in because when you hit the brake, something flexes in there a little.
Oh, you may be talking about the brake lines themselves.
Something like that.
Here's one thing that I also did when I did the fixed calipers. I changed from the brake booster down like through the reservoir and everything. It's a hard line. A hard line meaning a hard steel line.
Yeah.
That goes all the way out to your brakes. But before it gets to your brakes, most OEM cars come with a rubber line from the hard line to the caliper, and that's to give you flexibility because the wheels turn and everything. It's obviously very expensive too to get a flexible metal hose. You need to have flexibility, but you also need rigidity. The idea is when you're driving at the limit, your brake fluid heats up because the brakes heat up. Yeah. And when brake fluid heats up and gets to that soft rubber line, the rubber line expands, and that's your brake fluid boiling and expanding. It's expanding the rubber, and you lose some of your brake pressure through that line just growing.
Okay.
You can upgrade your factory soft lines to braided steel.
Those braided steel ones, yeah.
And that'll help on the limit only because you need to boil your brake fluid to get it hot enough to expand the
basically you
gotta
be like balsa walls.
If you track your car, it's a good idea. If you don't track your car, you won't notice
scrap
the
that
benefits.
idea right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
But
myth busted. Right
hey man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. The brakes were kind of definitely something I would like. That'd be kind of cool to have, like pulling up on the Forester.
Yeah.
And then
it
it's
looks
like
awesome.
lime green brakes.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's something that certainly down the line. I think those are probably the only mods that I have kind of like planned. I got to tint the car. That's something I never did. I'm probably gonna get a Gurney Flap for the little rear spoiler.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like man, I should show you because I have one.
Yeah,
a Gurney Flap is just like this thin piece of metal that sits at the back of your what do you call it? Your little spoiler, or depending on what kind of car, like the back of your trunk, and it basically helps downforce with that kind of air. It gets caught right there, and it just hunkers the back end of your car just a little bit like lower. So when you're really pinning it, you have just a bit more of that center of gravity. So they are. I can get they only make them for everything's made for the WRX. So I'm probably gonna kind of just jimmy ring that up.
I think I've seen that. Oh, I didn't know that was the name for it.
Yeah.
I had that on my CSX for purely aesthetic purposes.
These little guys right there.
Yeah. It's like the little deck lid spoiler. That's what I would call it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Gurney Flap deck lid spoiler. Yeah, that little thing there.
The old Gurney.
It's like $100.
Yeah.
I can buy one that's drilled in, or I can buy one with like crazy serious 3M adhesive.
Yeah, I would do the 3M.
I'm probably gonna go for the 3M.
Yeah, don't drill it.
Yeah, I'm just going to measure it up and then pop it on there just for fun. I threw on a WRX Vortex generator on there as well.
Vortex generator, that's the thing at the bottom?
No, that is the diffuser. There's a Vortex generator that sits on tops of the car roof. So that's like at the very back right before the spoiler. So any air kind of like, I don't know. It's all aerodynamic stuff I really have no idea about. And this is probably creating like minimum results. But it's a lot of it's just for stock.
And the Type R has it. I'm pretty sure some WRXs, some STIs have it too. Those little bumps.
The little fins are at the back.
Yeah.
I have that guy put it on there. A lot of WRX stuff actually fits bolt onto the Forester. It's incredible.
I think there's a lot of like
compatibility.
Crossover.
I'm gonna use the gross word. A lot of like mechanical incest in the Subaru line because there are a lot of people who take and give parts from.
I only see
Subarus.
benefits from that.
100%.
It's great.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that are just gonna strap the WRX, mid pipe, and I'm just waiting for someone in Ontario to do that again, 100%. And I'm just like, give me that, and then
there you go,
quad pipes in the back.
Yeah, but that's awesome, man. I'm excited to see what you do to this thing. I mean, watching someone build a car is more fun, I think, than actually having the car fully built. That's where
it's not your money.
You take your time, you take your time, and you're kind of like, well, what do I want to do with this? What do I want to do with that?
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about the canards at the front bumper? I know that's really hilarious.
It's definitely an aesthetic choice. Vinny clearly loves them because he's barking up a storm now.
Yeah, Vinny.
Mom! But, no, I think that it's an aesthetic choice. So if you're gonna go balls to the wall, and you're gonna put those canards on the front, then you got to get those rally rims. You got to have your LED light set up. You got to get that little I call it a deck lid spoiler.
Yeah,
you call it
Gurney Flap.
Yeah, Gurney.
Yeah,
but because you got to just do it all out and then make it your own.
Yeah,
the WRX thing will give it the noise and you make it a louder car because let's be honest, those canards are pushing like the performance appeal, the look, I think, to the max, because even like a track focused car from a factory doesn't come with those canards. No. And if anything, if you off road it, they're just asking to get whacked
on the side for sure. Don't get me wrong. That's why I want to buy the ones that actually drill into the side of the bumper, and I can just remove them if I wanted to. Yeah. But I mean, there's all these different little factors. Like when I was driving last week, we went over that crest, and the car you fully just went to the side just a little.
Now, you were on loose terrain,
this
or
was
you think that was the aero?
This was aero for sure, because we were already straightened over that. We were straight right before that curb right there. It was loose, but not to the point where like you turn a little and it was loose.
Yeah.
It was pretty compact, so it was definitely something where just the aerodynamics of just hitting over that kind of hump just tilted the car a little bit, and there was just that slight correction that needed to be made.
Yeah.
I don't know if something like that, if I have that little duckbill, that little, spoiler lip and those guys there, will it change it? Who knows? I just think it looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that's the most important thing. If you think it looks good,
awesome. I feel like it just adds a bit more meanness, because the XTs have just a slightly more aggressive grill.
Yeah.
I thought about buying the XT front bumper, but I feel like that's sacrilegious. It's not an XT. What's the point of having an XT bumper on it? It kind of creates a false.
You can make your own aggressive bumper.
That's right. Yeah. So I figured, I was like, you know what? I want to do something that there's only one other person that has that look on it, and it is an XT. And the guy's out in I think he's out in LA. I think it's like that FXT. It's an amazing car. He has it lowered. He just put a way bigger Gurney Flap on it. Like, I mean, it's huge. He just upgraded like yesterday. Serving as a bit of my inspiration. I'll pass her on the phone, but yeah, that is, I mean, front splitter, huge diffuser. Wow. It's lowered. It's wide bodied.
Jeez.
It's mean as fuck.
It doesn't even look like it looks like a car from a video game. It doesn't even look like a Subaru at that point. Like it's got so much going on the front end. Like this guy, and the fitment on the wheels is perfect. We definitely got to post a photo of that in the video here.
This thing's amazing.
Yeah,
this thing's amazing. And it's cool because he's his original car was white, and he was doing the overlanding thing, and then he said, scrap it, I'm just gonna create a street queen.
Yeah, street. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
I want something in between. Like I don't need a lip. I like clearance. I don't really care to put over fenders on it. I really don't care to lower it, but I do enjoy that extra bit of oomph on the side there.
Definitely. Yeah. And you know what? I think that you are going to enjoy modding your car to make it more performance orientated, because I saw what you were able to do behind the wheel of the sim today on our regular person in a reasonably fast car segment. Are we sticking with that name? I don't know. Sure. If we're sticking.
That's awesome.
Terrible name. But anyway, we did have Brandon in the sim. He's the second person to go in the sim. And how was that? How did that feel? What did you think?
Man, it was refreshing. I mean, I haven't done any like kind of like sim driving in a while. And it was really good to kind of get behind the wheel. Like the practice was awesome. As soon as it's like race day, race moment, like all that shit, just you lose it, and you're just like, oh, what the
yeah, you just
you kill it.
The pressure's on.
The pressure's on. It's a lot of it's mental, but it felt really great.
That's I mean, I'm happy you enjoyed it, and I could see you actually did improve through practice. Like, you got much better, and then obviously race started and race nerves took over. But your last lap, the one we're going to show you guys in a few seconds, was the best we've seen. Granted, you're only the second person to go on, but it is fantastic. It's a great lap, and I think we're gonna cut to that lap right now. Check it out, guys.
You're gonna take 2 laps to mess around. These tires get affected by like throughout the lap? Yeah. Oh shit. So all those little fucking off-road ventures I'm having isn't probably that good on the inflation. Or shred. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sector 2 time so far today, mate. Great job.
Okay, corkscrew executed.
And we're back.
Hey.
Back to the studio.
Okay.
So, Brandon, I'm going to pretend like you don't already know your time because we're supposed to keep that hidden from people. But how do you think you
Even
did?
though you see it on the screen
mean-
while you're playing.
I felt like it was definitely a slower lap because I was kind of, taking your advice from the beginning, not going balls to the walls on the accelerator. I'm going to go with like 2 minutes, 2 minutes 15.
Okay. All right. So, Joe did a lap in 2 minutes 24. And Joe will be the first to admit he had a hard time. He struggled, but his best lap time was 2 minutes 24. Brandon Bally, your best lap time, Mikey, drum roll.
152.560.
Ooh.
You are number one, my friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like I said, I'm the second person here, so God knows
That'll
how
hold the
many.
title for a while, I think.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think so.
hope so.
Yeah, until Victor comes 2 weeks from now. But
Ooh, yes, he's an avid
he's
sim.
an avid sim.
He's a
racer.
sim guy?
Yeah. He's.
Scheiße.
But we'll make it really hard for him.
Okay.
I'll turn on damage.
Yeah, so you're gonna blow the engine.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Oh, sorry, Vic. You drove too hard. No,
that's
that's you DNF. Did not finish.
Yeah.
No, but it's you honestly
Solid.
you carried some solid lap times, and you were pretty precise in a lot of areas, which I think is really going to come through. How was coaching from the Stig?
Pretty awesome. It was definitely a great feeling being on Laguna Seca because that's actually one of my favorite tracks. So the second we started off, I'm like, this is Laguna Seca, and I'm like, this is great.
You picked up on it even before the corkscrew.
Yeah.
You
We
saw it.
did it because it's an easier track and a known track.
Yeah.
A lot of people know it.
Yeah.
So.
The
It's
corkscrew is a
short.
doozy, and I mean, depending on how you've driven this, I mean, there's Laguna Seca is on all these different game platforms where, like, whether it's like just a whatever, here's a controller and you can drive and drift it as much as you want to, or it's like really, really sim. That corkscrew gets you.
Oh, definitely.
It does.
Definitely. But man, congratulations.
Thanks.
You are number one on our post. And I think I have another new segment, which we're going to use to transition to our second topic of the day, our watches. A new segment me and Mikey affectionately call Hip Hop Tick Talk. So where this all stemmed from is, now you listen to like regular music,
Yeah.
like, radio.
Yeah.
You've heard a lot of rappers have really, I think more than ever, especially young rappers, because of all the influencer culture. They talk a lot about watches.
Yep.
Like luxury high-end watches. And, I'm listening to the radio all the time because I'm one of those people who doesn't care. Like, I'll download music and stuff, but I just put on the radio the most of the time when I'm commuting. And I was blown away by how many references these rappers are making to proper watches. Obviously, they're doing it to show off. They're not doing it because they care about what's in a Patek or in an AP.
No.
But it is the popular thing. And I love how they incorporate it into their music. So
Yeah.
I'm going to read some lyrics to you.
Okay.
And you're going to try and guess
who.
what song it is, who the artist is. Okay, pretty simple game we're going to play.
All right, let's do this.
So the first one's a little bit about cars too. And this is an easy one. We're going to toss this one out easy, okay? G-Wagon, 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 G-Wagon. All the housewives pulling up. I got a lot of toys. 720S. Bumpin' Fallout Boy.
That's Post Malone.
Yes. Do you know the song?
I can't say I know the song well, but the second you said that, it just kind of boop right in the head. G-Wagon, G-Wagon,
Yeah,
G-Wagon.
there you go.
Yeah, so
Now, you already know the artist and everything, but I also think this one is hilarious. Get ready. This is from the same song.
okay.
750 Lambo, which is, I'm assuming, is that a Murcielago or an Aventador? 750 is the higher.
I think it's
They have
a,
650.
I think it's a Murcielago.
Yeah.
Okay.
750 Lambo in the Utah snow skirt. Trunk in the front like that shit Dumbo. Like how high is he when he's coming up with this? 'Cause
Probably decently baked to come up with some of the analogies.
definitely. I
Trunk
think you
in the
have to
front
be.
like Dumbo.
This one's going to be a lot harder. This
Okay.
one's going to be really hard, okay?
Yeah.
2 C's on my shoes. This not no Asics. Get out my face. My pockets full of faces. Bust down gold AP. That's not no stainless. My rollie, tell me what the day is.
Ooh, wow.
This is a
Holy
tough
moly.
one. This is a tough one.
Uh,
Toronto native.
Toronto native.
I don't know if that verse is him. I think it's another artist, but the song is a Toronto native.
You sure about that?
I think so. I'm fairly sure.
Let me verify.
God.
Three
I know who it is, but
3 letters in the name. Come on.
That's not gonna be Tory Lanez.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm wrong too. I thought it was Tory Lanez.
No.
But on the side note, who knows? I don't know. Was he born in the States or was he born in Canada?
Okay, I'll just say it. It's Nav.
Oh, Nav.
Nav is Toronto. Is he a Toronto native, right?
He's from
Toronto.
He's from Toronto, I think.
Yeah, Tory, it says Toronto. Tory
Yeah.
Lanez is from Brampton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, Nav. You know, I
I don't know if that verse is him because the song is called Champion. It's that this part of the song
From Etobicoke.
Oh, he's from Etobicoke.
Yeah.
There you go.
look at that.
So this part of the song I think is a different guy. He's very high pitched. He goes like, I'm not even gonna say it, but anyway. But anyway, let's move on to the next one because this is my favorite one. Let me just find the lyrics here.
Let's hear this. Yeah, Nav. I don't have too many Nav tracks because he's really like his first couple songs were really like darkish emo, full of Molly and perp. So I was like, not really my kind of cup of tea. But like he has some good stuff. He has some minor stuff.
Yeah. So this one's a little bit of cars and watches. Get ready. The Wraith Red. Sorry. I'll start one line before. She got good head, and she eat her cornbread. The Wraith Red. Ben Frank, my friend's dead. Don't want to miss it. All of that money. I don't want to kiss you. The pussy official. I fuck her one time and her face in a pillow. It's a one night ting. My diamonds fighting. This not no Breitling.
Oh,
That pussy biting.
That's
So creative.
Holy
moly.
that is definitely Meek Mill on "Talk to Me, Baby."
Yes, it is.
Talk to me, baby.
Yeah, oh yeah. Is it Meek Mill? I know it's Tory Lanez' song.
Tory Lanez, and then the second guy, I think is like,
It's some.
is it
Rich the Kid?
Rich the Kid? Okay, well,
Rich
he
the
was on
Kid.
a couple of tracks, so yeah,
Yeah.
Rich the Kid. Yeah, don't want to miss you.
Yeah. Exactly. So
okay, yeah.
here, this is my favorite one because it's the most introspective. I just gotta find it right here. Warhols on my wall paint a war story. Had to find other ways to invest because you rappers found every way to ruin Pateks. So the guy's actually bringing up the fact that, this culture is destroying high-end watchmaking.
Damn.
And rising prices.
So like Ben Clymer doing a quick.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dang.
This guy could not be the farther from Ben Clymer. I want you to think early 2000s. Who's made a bit of a comeback from the early 2000s? Part of the good music.
I feel
label.
like the only people. I don't know if that's Tunechi. Lil Wayne.
He just released an album titled after one of the most famous Rolexes of all time. Daytona.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of who the heck that is.
Starts with a P. Ends with literally the letter T.
That Pusha T?
Pusha T, yeah, that's
right?
Pusha T.
Okay.
Huge watch aficionado.
Yeah.
Because I guess he used to be in the drug game, and I
Yeah.
guess blinged out Rolexes were big back then. Anyway.
Yeah, Bust Down Anything was big at that point. Yeah.
But so he's basically saying here, I got to find another way to invest because you rappers found every way to ruin Patek.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's kind of sad, but I feel like there are certain rappers that are cluing in that like, if it's not factory diamond spec, then get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're cutting up any Patek to put diamonds in it, someone needs to kill you.
I think I do not. And again, it's all about what your taste is. If you have money to bedazzle a Rolex, a Patek, an AP, if you're doing it well, all the power to you. I think it's a bit tasteless with the diamonds, but for sure it's jewelry. So when it comes to a watch like a Patek Philippe that is so attractive on its own, like the fit and finish is what's to be appreciated there. If you can't appreciate the fit and finish on that, that's the highest
level
of. So clearly, then you're just in it because you have a bunch of cash you need to burn. Like,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Being like a jeweler, it's like, okay, if you want to bling out something, you want to create like a custom necklace or chain, hell yeah, do that. Put all the VVS's and go take your heart away. And then even in Rolexes, it's just like a lot of people don't understand the provenance is like keeping it as OG spec as possible. So, I mean, even people that have the money to like rape a freaking, a date and put like these tacky ass Roman numeral custom made dials and Dutty, S1 diamonds, and it's cloudy as hell. It's like, why did you do that? You could have just had the plain gold Rolex.
Yeah.
And it looks so much nicer than this flying saucer of a beefed out bezel.
My thing is it's a lot of money, very little taste, which usually, comes through illegal activity. Yeah. I think typically people who can build wealth, are exposed to wealth over a long period of time, build taste differently, as opposed to people who
just run into the cash.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't know what to do with it, and you need to blow it.
Exactly.
Because you want to hold on to those.
Yeah, like and that's why I think it's very, very popular with like drug dealers, stuff like that. Like it's something where I gotta I got all this cash right now. Let me spend it on something. Boom. Let me put the most expensive thing I can on my wrist. So this jeweler's telling me he wants $50,000 worth of diamonds and he's going to make it work for me. Then that's
not to mention, if you walk into an authorized dealer with the same illegal $50,000 cash, you have to make a transaction for that, anything over $10,000 cash. Okay. Like the government needs to know.
They have to
declare that.
Okay.
Okay. They have to declare that within like 24 hours of receiving that money.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
100%. So they're booked the second they do that. But if you go to, let's say, X, Y, and Z jeweler, that can create their own paper trail. So they're like, okay, I took $9,000 here. A month later, I took $9,000 there. They can keep most of that cash in their own safe. Yeah. So, of course, they're going to buy a bust-down Rolex because like they don't care. They just need the Rolex name.
You said bust-down twice now.
Yeah.
And you have to explain to me what bust-down means. Because I read it in that lyric. I had no idea what I was reading. What is bust-down?
A bust-down Rolex is basically like a fully blinged out piece of garbage.
Ah, okay.
To us, it's garbage. To them, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Bust down means like they just fully diamond pavéed the whole thing. They've bezeled it out. They've done all the silly, stupid shit
I
to
see.
it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
I don't want to buy anything bust down.
100%. I think that the culture, and we can call it the Hodinkee effect, whatever, has really pushed, for enthusiasts anyway, factory crystal.
Yeah, OG.
I don't know if you saw the Speedmaster reduced we posted. It was a yellow Speedy reduced I posted weeks ago. Mikey, if you can pull it up on your phone because I'm hooked up right now to the GoPro.
Yeah, pull it up.
Basically, the jeweler who had it, he didn't want to replace the crystal, even though it was cracked at the edge, right where it meets the bezel. He didn't want to replace the crystal because it had the Omega symbol on the front.
Yeah.
So he's not going to spend $800 to replace that sapphire with a vintage, a new old stock piece. So he just was trying to sell it. Scroll down like once or twice. It'll be there. It's a yellow Speedy on our.
Is that a Schumacher dial?
Yeah.
I love those actually.
Dude, they're beautiful, but a little bit too small for my taste.
What is a 39?
38, I want to say. Wears like a 39, but even the bracelet is very dainty on those 90s Speedmasters. It's not a Jubilee like what you're wearing now. It's more. It's like a Jubilee mixed with a link. It's a very dainty bracelet in my opinion.
Is this guy still selling it?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
He wants $26.
$100?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad to get a very one-off style speed. You're not going to run into anyone else.
It's niche. It's certainly niche. You know what? Like, there's a part of me that's like, I'd probably want to try it on, but there's a part of me that would want to. I like that watch. I actually like that watch.
I fell in love with it when I saw it, and I thought it was cool. He was the guy who was selling it in Toronto, and I had reached out to him. He told me like he was having a hard time selling it because of this sapphire, deal. So I took a look at it, and in person, I just wasn't. My grail for a little while has been the Speedy Pro Sapphire Sandwich. Yeah, I want that.
That thing's really cool too.
Gorgeous. I love it. I think it's especially after watching what's that Armstrong movie? What do they call it? First Man. Yeah. I just want a part of that heritage.
I don't think
Lots
so.
of Omega.
Really?
You will dig it. Yeah.
From Omega stopwatches to all the Speedies that were in the
you get to see a time where like wristwatch technology was the forefront of technology. Yeah. There's a reason why they took them to the moon because nothing else could do it at the time.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have anything that was as reliable as a mechanical timekeeping device. So
now you could probably shoot to the moon with a G-Shock if you think
honestly
about it. Solar.
Yeah. I think you'd be totally fine. There's nothing inside that's going to slow down. And pressure change and zero gravity.
You're set.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I kind of didn't get. Like, they have to manually wind these Speedmasters to them. They can't have an oscillating weight in the back. It's
NASA
zero gravity.
Needs to
just throw G-Shock some money.
Yeah. Imagine you saw NASA on a mission with a G-Shock.
Hey. Chris Hadfield.
We should talk a little less about this and pitch this idea to G-Shock. We're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
we can negotiate this deal, right? But if you think about it this way, NASA right now, they're not really doing much. They're not sending any more people to the moon. No. But NASA,
if they did, boom, boom, boom.
Okay, right. we bring this merger together. Oh, God. But they always look for the best technology, right, to send with their astronauts. So, and this is where I think the whole Omega Rolex thing, people kind of forget that Rolex
didn't make the cut.
No, not for the time they didn't have it.
No,
and even the Rolex. The Submariner beat out the Seamaster because the Submariner I think came out first, or what was more. I forget what it was. There's something that the Seamaster didn't have. There's a reason why like multiple military.
Water resistance.
Maybe it was that. Yeah.
Probably water resistance and screw down crown.
But the Speedmaster totally almost they almost killed the Daytona.
Yeah.
The Daytona only came back after the fact due to like racing heritage and But the Speedmaster was seen as the more popular choice in the I would say 60s, 70s.
Yep.
Going forward. But obviously we're a little bit more into watches now. Why don't you start to show us what you brought us today, Brandon?
Awesome. Cool. Right now on the wrist, I got the Zodiac diver, the Seawolf.
We're gonna have to do I guess we're all gonna take our watches off so we can pass these around
for sure. Yeah, this guy got during Christmas from a friend of mine. I was actually quite happy. This one was picked up for a great price point.
What you just did here, and if you guys can see that, the bracelet cuts in half. And I see it just clasps, it folds over. This is a new watch. I thought Zodiac had a vintage collection.
That is like their ode to throwback because they're doing a bit of throwback. So
okay.
it is a new watch. It is a new watch, and certain models of this come with a full-on deployant.
Okay.
But I like this model more.
Now, is the deployant still a Jubilee?
Yeah,
Like this one?
Yep.
Okay.
But
this is really cool, though.
I like it. You know why? Because for the mere fact of lying it down flat, I know that's so silly. Like you're mainly
No,
No,
it's not
I-
silly.
you lie
absolutely
down
get that.
flat. It's so cool. It's so
And
cool.
Is this? I know Zodiac has high beat. Is this?
This is not a high beat. The
Okay.
high beats are all vintage. There are no modern high beats.
Oh,
Fun fact.
That's why. Okay.
Zodiac was picked up and bought over by the Fossil Group. They own them.
I heard about that.
They own them.
Wow.
They have they do not get involved with design.
I'm gonna pass this over to
You
Mikey.
know, manufacturing. They do everything still in Switzerland. It's 100% Swiss still. Okay, I'm not maybe not 100%. To say 100%, you have to
Now it's like
you need to be really certain. So
those are fighting words.
it's still
now.
it's still minimum requirement Swiss, which I believe is 60% of the materials and the full-on construction is happening in Switzerland.
But I can even feel from the bracelet that it's a high quality watch. Like Zodiac, you'll see them a lot on Instagram now. A lot of
I really
collectors.
like that clasp. It's really cool.
Yeah, they're really.
I love the
really
case
nice.
design too. Those sharp lugs are really nice. I think that's one of the nicest bracelets that are interwoven into a sharp case like that. That's a very, very cool watch. I mean, what other dial colors does that come in?
Came in a silver with this kind of luminous green dial, which I really like the pop. It also came in a black dial. And this version is with the steel bezel.
Yeah.
I believe there's now a version in a blue sunburst, a deep navy blue sunburst in the steel bezel. There's a bunch of other versions. Actually, I've owned before with the kind of acrylic style 60s bezel. Okay?
Oh, wow.
If you look on my Instagram further back, maybe like a summer or two ago, I had it. I bought it from, I think, the Watt station at the Milton outlets. And
they carry Zodiac?
Yeah, they do.
Huh.
And you always buy it on sale, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I bought it off of them, and there was like a speck on the dial. I couldn't get over it. I said, I'd be willing to, you want to like send this back, and maybe you can get like another one. But they're like really crappy customer service.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I just returned it. And even returning it was a problem because I paid in cash, and then I went back the next day. They didn't have enough cash on the till, and I said, "This is ridiculous." I mean, just to give it to me back on debit.
Now,
Crazy.
I'm going to ask you, in that case, now, because Zodiac, being Swiss made, you expect a certain level of quality when you pick up the piece.
Yep.
Do you think that was more to do with the brand or the dealer who maybe had just not looked at the watch that they had purchased?
I would say dealer because on a parallel, like quality control should still go down at the store, at the retail store.
Yeah.
So like anytime I received stock, we would look at it, and if there was any imperfections, you could just send it back straight to the dealer, and they would open it up, take off whatever spec, fix that crystal, fix that pusher, and then bring it back to you. It's no extra cost. It's already under warranty.
You have no emotional attachment to that watch because you have to sell it, but the person buying it.
Will.
That's that. Yeah.
Ultimately, that's a piece of profit. So it's either do you want to take 50% off because now there's an imperfection, or do you want to just hopefully sell it for full pop, or closest to what you can, and just take an extra 2-3 weeks to send it out to.
I'm 100% on that
Time
side.
Central.
Give the customer a good product and sell it at full pop because that's that's where it comes into having good customer service and also having proper staff who are going to take the time to look at that.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool piece. I like that. Very utilitarian.
This guy's cool. Love it. It was definitely the Christmas purchase, and I'm stoked to have it. I actually, even though I had this bad taste in my mouth from the same store, I ended up going back because I knew they were gonna have a good sale, and I just kept on looking at the pieces, and I got my friend to buy it for me. I also tossed her some money for it as well. But
what I mean, if you don't mind me asking, where's the price range on Zodiac?
So right now, that thing I think was like $12.95 or something like that.
Wow, that's more than I was expecting.
Yep. The newer movement of this also has a swan neck regulator in there. Okay. And they also make these own 2824 version of their own movements.
Okay. So is that an ETA base?
It's not an ETA base. So they make their own caliber.
Oh, it's an in-house.
Their own in-house.
It's their own in-house, but it's basically like whatever a Solito or a 2824 is.
Okay.
But they just make they make it themselves.
Ah, okay. Now
So
I see. And So like standard power reserve, like 48 hour.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
Huh.
But the new one has a swan neck regulator, and I think has more power reserve. And those
Interesting.
ones are on their new Olympus line, which I also would love to have.
Mhm.
So I also, of course, I brought the Mings.
I'm so happy. Did you see the smile on my face when you pulled the 1703 out? Because I'm so happy you brought that.
Yeah. But I'll get to something fun and unusual. My second newest watch was this Movado.
Yes.
1950s 33 millimeter FP Bourgeois case watch in a sweet ivory silver dial, subsidiary secondhand.
Wow.
Explorer numerals. It has the riveted minutes. This thing ticked off so many little weird quirks that I have about collecting, that I was watching this for like a month and just got so nervous at the end of the year. Like literally, it was the 31st of 2018 in December, and I said, I'm buying this thing.
I remember you telling me about it at a Red Bar meet,
Yeah.
but I don't think you had it at the time, or maybe you didn't.
No,
bring
I was
it.
still talking about it.
Yeah.
I was still looking. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. And I even sourced an original Movado strap.
Oh my god!
Take a look at typography. It's exactly matching on the dial, so it's definitely time error correct.
Oh man, that is gorgeous. It's like taking a little walk back in time right now.
Yeah, it's OG as hell.
Back in TimeLaps podcast.
Yeah, and I mean 33.5 mil.
Dude.
That's not a size for everybody. Like for most people now, most people don't want to pull it
Yeah,
off. My girlfriend was like, "That's small," and I'm like, "She's small, petite,
You have I think
smaller wrist."
so
Yeah.
you can easily pull this off.
Yeah.
For me, it would look a little bit awkward.
And for me, it would be like holding a penny on my wrist.
We could get some. We could get some
Look,
round.
put this around your wrist.
I can imagine.
This is on the small setting. You can make it bigger.
God.
Oh my gosh! But
I'm tossing on
Jesus.
the Rolex. This is awesome. I was like eyeing this down the whole time. I was like, "Ooh, yeah,
it's
that thing's
it's a
awesome."
pretty
Yeah,
watch.
look
Look
at
at that. You can fit another. You can fit both your wrists in there.
that. That
Oh
is
my
awesome.
gosh.
It wears so cool.
But the one thing I like about the sport Rolexes is, despite the case size being like, you have a smaller wrist, it's still, and it being a flat case, like the lugs don't bend down at all. It still appropriately fits people. It doesn't look odd or anything. Yeah, I think it looks good on smaller wrists and bigger wrists alike. And this is your smallest watch, I think.
That is now my smallest watch. It pushed me to it pushed me to like an incredible journey, because I was at 34 millimeters with some of my Ultracrons, and I was like, I know, but the thing is, it just ticked off so
What
many
size
things.
is this?
That's 33.5 mil.
Jesus, I'm gonna pat like this is I love this, because you know what this feels like to me, with that crystal and the lugs, the way that they just wrap down, it feels like a time capsule.
Yeah,
That I feel like is something my grandfather grew up looking at, and thinking, oh, that's a nice watch. It's just of a different time. And it's in such great shape. The dial has a bit of like aged color to it. But it's nothing like too drastic.
No.
That is so cool. Tell us a little bit more about vintage Movado, because I think a lot of people who have listened to us before,
huge underrating. I mean, sure, a lot of the watches are smaller to pick up now. Most of the collectors that keyed in on the undervalued price points of Movados and steel have already bought them. So now the only stuff that's left over at a price point that I think some people want to spend $500-$600. I feel like that's a great price point to get into vintage watches, and it's not a huge risk, because you're probably gonna spend another $200 servicing it
for sure.
which is like $700, and then you still have to ask yourself, what can I get for $700 brand new? That's really good.
Do me a favor, wind that right up to the mic.
All right, it's fresh.
Sounds nice.
So
It's
one
crisp.
last fun fact, and there's a bumper in there. It's a bumper automatic.
Oh, I did not know that. I
Yeah.
thought it was manual wind
no,
only.
if you tilt it, you'll feel it.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a bumper automatic.
I've never actually felt a bumper before.
Yeah, you'll feel it. It's a really nice.
You can.
Bump.
So
boink.
I was looking at my first vintage watch, Mike. You know this, of course. I wanted to buy a pole router, and pole routers came with
And
the
Anthony
micro rotor.
was looking at the exact right time when
Man,
What they skyrocketed.
Was that back in 2013, 2014?
And this was even
No.
later, 2016.
They
I was
were
getting
still
into them.
cheap. They were still cheap at that time. I
In
remember
2016, they were like over $1,000.
No, 2014.
Oh,
that was the
2014,
year that
yeah.
I got into the watches. That's when I bought. That's when I learned about the Longines Ultracron and everything. I
Yeah.
looked at the pole rotor because micro rotor, and I was like, this is cool. That I've seen that mint steel, black dial. I kid you not, guys. $600-700 Canadian.
Oh my God! Don't tell me that.
Canadian.
There's a guy at Red Bar who has a mint black dial, a little bit of tropical like patina on it, and he bought it before everything exploded. Of course.
I think isn't that Corey? That's Corey.
Yeah,
He's a
Corey.
really
It was Corey.
nice guy.
Yeah,
super
yeah.
nice guy.
Really knowledgeable too.
Yeah.
Knows a lot.
Especially in vintage.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Blew
He has
my
a good
mind
collection.
when he kind of like right over my head when he starts talking. But anyway, the what's it called? The pole router came in either micro rotor or bumper.
Yeah.
And everyone said, oh, the micro rotor is more desirable because you can feel the bumper move. But that, I mean, maybe it's different in the pole router, but in that bumper, I barely
feel
felt it. You feel a little bit, but I feel like on the wrist, you wouldn't notice it too much.
No, on this thing you feel it, and if it's really quiet, you can actually hear it move a little. I'll try and kind of
Put it in front of the mic here.
yeah. See if I can do this, guys.
Yeah, I can hear something.
It's a little bounce. It feels like a pinball machine releasing that ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, fun facts about Movado vintage. They have a huge wicked history.
Mm-hmm.
The case manufacturer is one of the biggest things about this era that most people don't understand.
What? This is 50s.
This is a 50s era. I don't have the actual date because I haven't opened it. And also, interesting thing, didn't even notice this on the pictures. There was still the paint from the case back to the case still intact, which indicates
that hasn't been opened.
that's right.
Jeez.
Yeah. And if you look at the markings on this back hex,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that shows that it's been ever opened again.
Mm-hmm.
Besides some porosity on the side, but that's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the case manufacturer, FP Bourgeois, made cases for Patek. Okay.
I remember you telling me
This
that,
was one of
which
the
is high
biggest
praise.
things. So my collecting in vintage now has not just gone to like brand providence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into like things like, that case manufacturer was sharing the same cases as Patek at the same time, and also Movado, and some of the Movado's like really popular pieces like their M90 chronograph, flyback chronos had the same identical steel cases to Patek's in steel and also in yellow gold, engine turn bezels and pushers,
Wow.
and they were like literally just exactly the same. Of course, the movements were way different, but the cases were the same. So this is like the same case you could actually find on a couple of different models in their line.
That's
at
crazy.
the time. So
Wow.
that was one of the reasons why I had to find something in that age range, and then to go and find that was hard to find condition.
Yeah.
So it took me some time, but
you did your research.
I
and-
love it.
Yeah, you
love it a
came
lot.
up with something fantastic. Now, I know that Movado more recently is a little bit looked down upon. And I think that's why people
Yeah,
don't know about they don't look in the history the same way they do Tag and Longines,
yeah.
because they still Tag and Longines still hold that mechanical watch prowess, and people still look to them as. But now Movado has, I think, a little bit too much of a fashion thing going on.
Yeah. Which brands had to they had to reconfigure and, base it off of what the market wanted, because a lot of things changed when Quartz came out. A lot of brands went under, and brands were struggling to figure out where they're going to fit in the marketplace, because now, at that time, a lot of people weren't going to spend the money for mechanical watches.
Yeah.
Once the museum was launched, and then the museum got so much traction, the first museums were made with Zenith manually wound movements.
Museums being the typical Movado we know today.
Yes,
with the dot at the 12 and
Do you even know
nothing.
why the dot's at the 12?
I have no.
Okay,
fucking clue.
so the Movado, the whole essence of between the museum dial is the sun at high noon. So that dot at the top is to represent the sun at high noon, and the hour minute hand is the Earth and the moon rotating around the sun.
I had no idea that it had a more deep meaning than just like minimalism.
Yeah, no.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the minimalism was definitely behind its time, and that's why it got the name museum once it was in the I think it's the Guggenheim. It was sent to the Guggenheim, and it became a museum watch for, I think, arts and designs. That's where the name was coined.
I see.
And then since then, they just started pushing that out. I think somewhere down the line, I realized that Quartz was more so what they wanted to do. They were also contracted to build Tiffany & Co. watches for quite some time. Yeah.
Wow.
Tiffany & Co. watches back like when their automatic and manually wound chronographs like the M90 was so popular. They made the Tiffany & Co. watches, and they were literally just Movado everything.
Wow.
Stamped Tiffany & Co. dial. So I think after that contract changed, I think the whole brand kind of changed and reformulated into what we know it now.
Yeah.
But you know what? So, like, they're still cool. They're still cool. I mean, they're not probably for everybody. They're probably looked onto like a design watch now, stylistic. It would be so nice if they started making more on their red labels are still their automatic watches. If they kind of said, you know what, we're gonna make a whether it was a Solida based chronograph, make a Solida based chronograph. They could probably tie in and make some money if they decide to dig into the roots and kind of do the whole vintage relaunch thing.
I think in this era they would, but
I think they've
because
lost it
there's
for too long.
Yeah.
They've lost it for too long.
And they did a very controversial thing recently.
What'd they do?
They bought out MVMT.
They bought out Movement?
Yeah. And then because they saw, because obviously they're in the fashion watch world.
Yeah, they want to absorb.
I can see they probably bought them for their marketing.
Yeah,
because MVMT's marketing was like, ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like they needed that online presence, and MVMT sells exclusive. I mean, they have in some things that like stores that sell Daniel Wellington. I think sometimes sell MVMT.
Yeah.
Like, but MVMT, I'd say 95% of their sales do not come from brick and mortar stores. They come, So Movado, by buying them, now is able to inherit that that online retail.
Which they've been doing for quite some time now.
I know they've had
you can buy anything online now from Movado. They also have a factory store in the Milton factory outlets, the Toronto Outlet Center.
Oh.
And if there's anything you want to buy online, you can just have it shipped there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're really working online. They're working in like partnership with online and the retail stores.
I just don't see, if they continue down the path that they've been on for so long, I just don't see that much future success, because those styles, those minimalist styles are so of a time.
Yeah.
And that time's running out. I think the only people that are going to keep mechanical watch or, wrist watches, like analog watches alive, are the utilitarian ones. Because they're, people can still justify that this is more beefy than an Apple Watch.
Yep.
I can, this 200-meter water resistance, if I get it covered in molasses or maple syrup, I can just scrub it off.
Yeah.
Or semen.
Yeah. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. And you're absolutely right.
I had to push it past molasses. You know what I mean? Like there's that element of it still, the ruggedness, right?
Yeah.
Technology is great, but it's not as rugged. And what you're holding there, that's the Notice Contrail 39, my most recent pickup.
That's really nice.
I haven't been to Red Bar yet. I haven't been able to show it off. But Furry Wrist Abroad has a Contrail 39 and a retrospect or an Avalon. Yeah, he really likes Notice. Did you ever meet the Notice guys?
Yeah, I came out for that meet in the summertime. It was really good. They gave away a really a nice watch to one of our lucky members, which was quite nice. It was like a root beer diver. The Contrail is really cool. I like it on this style is really nice. I think they have like a polar white.
That's the one I wanted. It's Laguna sand. This is the black sand
because that texture. The finishing on this is crazy. The starburst finish on the bezel, insane. They do a great job.
Do you know how much these cost?
I think this is in that same price point of what the retail of one of these guys costs, right? Like
half.
Really?
This was $600 Canadian.
This is $600 Canadian?
US.
No, $575 US. Sorry.
Oh,
okay. I got a bit of a
600.
I got a bit of a discount, but and this was the last black sand that they had because they were out of stock after they sold me mine. But 600 Canadian, you're getting a Miyota 9015, which I didn't know was 2,800 beats per hour.
That's the good. That's the Miyota that you want to have.
Yes, that's the Miyota that is like when you hear Miyota
of 2824 basically.
Exactly, and man, using it, like the functionality of it, so nice.
And it's reliable in time.
Oh, it's great. I haven't ran into one issue yet. And I always do the thing at the end of the day, because I set my watches in the morning. I don't use watch binders anymore. I set them in the morning, and at the end of the day, I'll grab my phone and I'll watch the seconds go. And I'll just make sure that it snaps right at the 60-second mark. It changes. Yeah. And usually this one's like 2-3 seconds around there.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I really like it. I wear it. I try to wear it 2-3 times a week. It's replaced my SKX basically.
This is a wicked watch. I didn't realize the price one was so good. They released those new divers with that green bezel and ceramic bezel. Those ones are a bit more money. That was the one I was thinking of going for because I sold my green Seiko to make room for the Ming 1703. So I do miss a green diver bezel and dial watch so much.
I mean, for the money, I think you're getting solid quality out of Notice. And man, customer service, bar none.
They're good. They're
are
good
fantastic.
guys.
Yeah,
They're wicked guys.
I wish we could have met them, and hopefully they do come out to Red Bar Toronto again when they have time, maybe in the summer.
Yeah,
I'd love to get to meet them and maybe even have them on the podcast. But you brought up the Ming. I didn't. So let's talk about the Ming. Because
which one should we talk about?
Let's talk about both. Let's talk about the brand. We went from one micro brand. Might as well talk about another great one.
I mean, both me and you, we have Mings. It's a rare occurrence, especially I feel like for original buyers. Some people have bought them pre-owned.
I understand that.
Yeah,
for the limited production models.
For the limited production models,
like the 1701.
I remember hearing your story as to how you heard about this, the 1701 and the beginning of Ming. And it was kind of a similar thing as well. Like I watched Jack Forester talk about it. Prior to
Thank you, Jack.
Prior to the actual video, I saw the article. And like at that time you're just like online searching for everything new. Yeah. And micro brands at that point was really awesome. I had already gone to I had already gone to the Worn and Wound Fair out in New York, Chelsea,
cool.
the year before. So I had a good taste of micro brands and everything. It was a great time. I didn't have the Ming at that time. I think I was wearing my vintage Lawn Jeans Ultracron that also broke in High Park. Funny story. I'll get into it another time. Okay. So silly. So I read the article, and at that point, working at European Jewelry, I understood how much a watch is going to cost for around $1,000. To build, market, and have on the sales floor for $1,000. Yeah. Okay. Especially for $1,000 USD. This was the only watch in the world, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, that has a sapphire dial, that has an adjusted movement, and has something quirky, limited production, titanium case, grade 5, which is hard to get and also manufacture. The only thing that grade 5 titanium does that other don't is high polish. You can actually bring it to a high polish finish that's scratched decently. You got to wear your watches.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this, I was like, this is a brand. Like, this is a brand that I want to buy into because they're not giving me BS history. They're not trying to make it vintagey. And at that time, everything was going back into vintage routes. So it was like, this brand's pushing the forefront of where we go from watches today and how do we make it tomorrow and create a new design language. And I like what Ming does. And so I messaged Hello Ming, who is also run by Praneeth at the on the team. Praneeth is the one that runs the emails.
Oh, I didn't know that because I thought the email was kind of weird. It was Hello Ming.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well.
Praneeth, nice guy. He's the one that runs it. So I messaged him and was like, hey, I really like the watch. I want to buy a blue dial. He's like, yeah, it's limited production. I was like, yeah, I said, I told him like, I honestly don't know if I can, fork that out again. Like, how many more runs you guys have? He's like, we're getting into, I think the second or third batch at this point. I think it was the second or third batch.
This is on the 1701.
This is the 1701.
Okay. Yeah.
I kept all the emails. He's the person Praneeth was like, okay, well, I said, like, what's your longevity for watches? I mean, like, how many other watches? I don't know if I can wait for your next one. He said, we're working on multiple pieces for the next 5 years. We're going to have lots of watches coming out soon. So if you miss out on this one, don't worry. And I said, I don't think I want to wait. I said, I need in on this. And he said, okay, well, we have a waiting list over 200 at the moment, but if you really want it, I can go ahead and give you a private checkout. So sorry guys, I didn't really wait.
What? Have you heard my story about how? Okay,
yeah. You go. He's like, you don't have if you want it, you can send me a deposit. This link will be valid for 24 hours. I said, give me a moment, give me some time to think about it. I went home that day, thought about it. The next morning, I went straight to TD, liquidated some funds, bought that. I sent it to him right there. I said I needed it. 2 weeks later, this came in.
Wow.
And I even left work to pick it up because I had DHL leave it at the door.
Yeah.
And the second it was out for delivery and it was delivered, I hopped into my buddy's Hyundai Genesis.
Nice.
Ripped it.
Yeah.
First time him letting me use his car, by the way. But he's like,
Nice.
this is really important. You need a fast car. Go. So I drove home from Square One. I picked up the watch and literally like opened it up. And like he had his camera and everything. And I said like, here, go take some really sweet photos, crisp as hell with it. And he did. And I was ecstatic. And it was just something that cued off so many different things. I mean, the linear brushing on the sides, like the curved downward lugs, which you find kind of in 50s style watches.
Yeah.
Some people say it looks like that other brand, FP Journée, with their chronometric bleu, especially on the blue dial.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
The
bang-
one that Hodinky did with them.
I know which one you're talking about. The Hodinky release.
There's a
with
Hodinky one, but like the standard chronometric blue.
Okay.
Like some people say, like, you know, the hands look like this, it looks like that. You know what? I'm gonna 100% disagree because one, there are two different price points. And if you really understand what Ming was setting out to do with this watch, it's definitely different than the FP Journée, and it offers something that the FP has at a way more accessible price point.
Exactly.
With still the provenance and still the exclusivity of a high-end brand like that. So that's why I had to go for it. And I was hanging on to that for a long time.
Your dial is significantly more scuffed up than mine, but mine has a really deep, 2 or 3 really deep scuffs that are much more noticeable than yours. So,
there's like the big scuff at 12 o'clock. I took that to DC for the second time I went to Worn and Wound Fair, and literally every single person that was at Worn and Wound was like, "Is that the Ming?" They didn't even want to tell me about their brand. Okay, like they were like, "Let me take a look at it," and they're all here looking at it with loops, thinking, "What the hell did they do to get this price point?" Like they're all wondering how. It was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing because meanwhile I'm walking over and I'm thinking, oh, I can't wait to go try on this guy's brand, you know, and everything from, you know, who's that guy that who's that guy that sells those quartz watches? And he's like the watch guy. I don't want to say Daniel Wellington. It's also Daniel. It's another Daniel brand.
I have a feeling I know what you're talking about. Not Thomas Sabo.
Not Sabo,
but
it's Daniel. They make the divers and some quartz watches. They make it all vintagey. Anyways, I went around the fair. So many people
Ward?
loved it.
Daniel
yes,
Is it Daniel Ward?
Daniel Ward is very popular. Even some guys at Red Bar have a few Daniel Wards. I think it's Daniel Ward.
Is it Daniel Ward? I think so. Yeah, I think it might have been. And everyone was just so happy to see it. It was so cool to get that type of
that love.
To see that so much love and see so many people liking it. I did tell you I had conversations with Ming.
Yeah.
I slid into his DMs a couple times. I slid into his DMs.
awesome.
I carefully watch this guy because I want to know every little clue that this guy's making on projects. Coming up to the 1703 limited edition, when the first 1703s came out non-limited with the black and burgundy dial, I liked it, but not that much that I want to buy it. I also wasn't in the point to buy that watch at that point, so I was kind of like, I'll wait it out. It was a really nice watch. I can't remember what I bugged him about, but I messaged him telling him how much I was so happy to wear the watch. I told him about the experience at the Worn and Wound Fair, and he was quite amused. And I asked him, I said, you know, like, how does it feel knowing that, you know, people are selling the watch way more for more money than you sold it for? And he went on to explain how it was quite hurtful for him as someone that built that watch to see people making profits off of it that, you know, obviously they could have. He told me that initially the 1701 was supposed to be a standard production piece, but because of the limitations of how well it was built and the price point that they already committed to, it wasn't lucrative. They didn't really make any money on that project at all. Wow. It was a great starter, though. It certainly shot them into the limelight very
100%.
well. So for the fact that they didn't really make money on it, it certainly was still a success. But he said that, you know, it sucked seeing that people were buying it at like $2,000. He said the highest he's ever seen it was $3,300.
What?
American. Can you believe
Oh my
you could have
God.
sold this for $3,300 American?
See-
And if Ming ever watches this, I would never. I'll never get rid of these watches. I'll never sell them. They're gonna be mine forever.
Yeah.
And I'll never buy a Ming pre-owned. Maybe I'll buy a Ming pre-owned to give to someone else that wants a Ming.
Yeah. But for yourself,
No, I'm buying everything brand new, straight from them. What up, Praneeth?
I want to say that of all my watches I've purchased, the Ming is the only one that's actually gone up in value, other than the System 51 Hodinkee. But
I would not. No, we. have
People are listing it
differences in-
online.
I don't think so at all.
People are listing it online for more money than both of us paid.
What do you think about that?
Okay.
Because clearly I feel like you're like, I don't know about this System 51 higher than the price points that it should be.
No, I don't think it is at all.
Like I actually offered him mine for $375. Now these things sold from Swatch for what was it, 200
$150 US.
150.
Is this the navy blue one?
I have the first one.
Okay, the first one.
I've got
the
the navy
silver
blue
dial.
one.
He has
Okay,
navy
you have the
blue.
navy blue one. Okay.
So and I only said that. I only said 375 because someone has 3 or 4 people have mine listed brand new in box for 600.
Yeah, and they're not going anywhere.
That's
We'll see.
stupid, though.
It is stupid, and I was because I didn't really care to sell it. I don't like selling watches. Like I put time into researching this fucking thing, and I enjoy wearing it. It's just, I don't wear it enough because I got like
So many other
12 watches up there
I wear mine like 3 times a week.
because you like how comfortable it is. But I gotta say,
How do you do that though? Sorry to cut you off. Like how do you wear the Swatch, but then like you also have a lovely two-tone GMT on your wrist?
That's my most worn watch. Is the
Swatch?
51? Yeah.
You know what?
All
get
my
it.
other
I get
other
it.
watches are. I think the SKX is the next. But like,
No, you wear the SKX.
no. Like in terms of like worth.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
And all the other ones are quite more expensive than both
Yeah.
of those. But no, I wear this watch the most.
Mhm.
I like the way it's so comfortable. It's so light.
Yeah.
Just-
Fun fact, I don't have a Swatch. I don't know if I'll ever buy one. Even though the System 51 is really cool, even though the Hodinkee System 51s are awesome. I don't know. There's something light. There's a rubber lightness that I can't really get down with yet. Even though I have a G-Shock, I have 2 G-Shocks.
It's different than a G-Shock.
I know,
because
I
the
know.
G-Shock doesn't.
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
sound
there's
like
still
like a
mechanical.
maraca.
Oh, when
It's still
when you move your wrist, you hear the
Yeah.
the rotor go whoosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not even like a strong.
No,
it's
it's
like
Yeah.
like you know in like a
like you're in
a horror
tinfoil.
movie.
Yeah.
like when the kids' playground thing is going around. It's
Oh
like
my god, a little carousel.
it's it's just, you know what it is, and my brother kind of put it perfectly. But this is how people perceive it. People who are not into it, it feels like you pull it out of a cereal box.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
you end up
when I brought it
appreciating.
home, my mom's like, "That's a Swatch," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah."
That's the cool thing, though.
Yeah.
People that don't know watches know Swatch out the wazoo.
Yeah,
Right,
because
yeah.
of the marketing, and
Yeah.
that's what brought wristwatches back from the grave. Like the Swatch watch was the Swiss's answer to quartz
Yeah.
and cheap, effective quartz, and
Yeah.
they stylized it. And I mean, if you look at YouTube, some of the popular guys on YouTube like Urban Gentry,
Yeah.
he has a couple of swatches that are like worth ridiculous, like $3,000, because they were
The older
collaborations
vintage
with
ones.
from the 90s.
Yeah.
Swatches, they're not System. They didn't have System 51 back then, but it was like quartz swatches
The
that were
ivories.
collaborations with artists,
Yeah.
limited production, and not even the ivory. It was
Irony, sorry.
Irony. I gotta check what it is, but they're very quirky dials. They're very 90s, very like
Yeah.
New York art scene in
Well,
the 90s.
look at that one that came out a couple months ago, the Mickey Mouse one.
Those are pretty cool.
What's the artist?
If they do a Mickey Mouse with the hands and it's all
Banksy.
automatic, that'd be pretty cool.
They did,
Oh well, there you go.
and people bought it and sold it for like a
That's-
couple grand.
Stupid.
That's it. Like
Everyone that
I
I think
mean-
there were like 700 made, and everyone that bought one just sold them.
So reselling is like another little side thing I want to talk about. I don't know. There's a lot of reselling and resellers that I feel like kill things for me
Mm-hmm.
because I don't find it being an authentic purchase from the begin with. Like some people, like I like sneakers, and there's tons of resellers for sneakers that just drive up the price for things that just aren't worth the money. Like a Nike sneaker that is someone's gonna buy for even $100 gets made for probably like $5 American.
Yeah.
Crazy markup. Okay, packaging, employee purchasing, all these different things make it the $100 price point. But to then say like this $300 Yeezy is now worth $1,000. Like you're just buying the idea for the extra.
It's forced exclusivity.
Yeah, that's dumb. Like there's no value in that. So like when people like bump up the value of certain things just for the fact that like you can't get it or because it's apparently cool, I just think it's dumb.
The wonderful world of Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't even.
they know that's the collective psyche of millennials now.
Yeah.
People want what they can't have.
Fear of missing out, that FOMO
Yeah.
shit, it applies
That's
to the
fine.
consumer culture. So like if there's a kid at school and 3 of his friends have Yeezys and he can't get Yeezys because his parents can't afford to dish out 100% above
Get the fake
market
ones.
price. Yeah. That would be the end. But no, I can't do that. My friends will hate me. I'll never have friends again. And that's where this insecurity is driving these markets. And you know, in the watch world specifically, obviously we see that a lot. I think that I think we sometimes romanticize resale on watches we cannot get. So like vintage, right? That's a resale, but it's a romanticized version of resale. You're looking for a great deal.
Yeah, you want a good deal. I like for me to turn around and try and make a profit off the Movado. Like if someone came to me and was really passionate about the Movado and said, "Oh my God, I'll give it to you. I'll buy that for you. I'll buy it off of you. Like I really want it." And they said, I'm willing to give you $600. I'm like, sure. Yeah. Whatever. I'll make $100. I don't care. That's whatever. But I wouldn't be like, it's $1,000, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't share this story, but I missed out on a vintage Alpinist. Oh, and
tread lightly.
I'm
with
gonna
the story.
I'm just gonna talk, and it ended up being purchased by someone I met at Red Bar, and this gentleman.
It was funny. It was like
the day after,
literally the day after he went to go see it. He saw it at Red Bar.
Yeah. So I didn't even get to see it. The guy told me, sorry, it's sold.
Whatever, right. The day you were gonna go see it.
It was for sale for like $800. It was a 90s Alpinist, and I'm happy the guy got it because the guy who got it, it's actually his birth year Alpinist. So he really likes it.
Well deserved.
Yeah. But he said something that because I knew exactly how much he paid for it, and I made the joke, "Oh, would you sell it?" He's like, "Yeah, for like $1,200." The way he said it, like 100%, I'll sell it to you. But for to make a profit on
big profit, I'm like,
maybe he was just saying that to say it, but it's like, dude, if it's your birth year watch, like, okay, you obviously it's better that it's yours.
You take that. You
hold
it down.
But no, I'm not gonna give you more than what I could have got from the guy had I met up with him and bought it. Like, you're gonna flip this thing to me for
that's the flipping of the watches and stuff. It's a bit crazy. We see it you see it in Rolex. I mean, the new GMT Jubilee GMT.
Crazy.
I can't.
Like 11,000 MSRP, and like people are selling for like 28, 21.
That's like this is where I go like that's silly. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's great. It's great. It's great business. It's wicked marketing. It's great." Sure, but like people forget that like these companies can only charge what we think these things are valued at. And they are running away with profit margins. This is an exact, like a verbatim from, I'm not going to say who, but someone from, a product rep from a watch brand. They've been getting greedy with the profit margins. And this is like all brands. It's amazing that we have, these micro brands that are coming in and having honest price points for well executed pieces at great value points. That is to me what's going to save watches, what's going to give a rebirth to watches, may give bigger brands a run for their money. It already has, because now brands are starting to have to lower their price points or create new products to lower the price points to market their pieces to people that are obviously wising up and realizing the true value of what these things cost.
What do you say to the people who are brand snobs, who look at micro brands, don't see value, but instead see, I can't trust this. Everything is done through the internet. It could be anyone selling me anything. It's not a brick and mortar, so I don't see it until I've already given the money. What do you say to someone like that who would refuse a micro brand value proposition simply because of a trust thing or the perceived value in a name brand?
You're lost.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, you took the words out of my like more for me and the rest of the people that actually want to buy the watch. Yeah, I mean I was talking to Birchall and Taylor, those two gentlemen that make wicked watches here in Toronto. Beautiful. Off of Queen Street. You can go and have a nice bit of whiskey with them while they're working. They're awesome. I have yet to go
set that up, but
yeah, they're really cool. They sell their watches for like $9,000. You're not holding the piece. You don't get to see it. There's no hot girl giving you Perrier and espresso when you come into the boutique.
Every time. Why the Perrier and espresso?
Well, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it should speak to a larger audience, and it should speak to a larger understanding that you don't need all that foolishness to sell a good piece.
Yeah.
If it's truly made at a great level of quality, it will do all the speaking for itself.
Exactly.
100%. To the point where you can buy it off. You can do 3 clicks and you bought it.
I think that you're right there, and like what you and Mikey both said. Yeah, all the power to the people who are in the know.
That's right.
And
more stuff for me. I mean, I would love to buy Ming's new World Timer. Don't get me wrong. It's like $9K.
I know.
Micro rotor movement. Yeah, it's a bit more.
Yeah. Canadian, I checked. I think it was 13.
Yeah.
And some people were like, "Oh, you might as well buy a sports Rolex. You'll get a lot of money off of it." But
why?
But I don't care to buy. I don't care to buy a watch just for the fact that I know it's going to gain money later. I don't care. I'm buying it because I want it.
Exactly. I think that the same person saying that or having that sort of retort doesn't understand that if you could liquidate 13 grand, you can go and buy that Rolex whenever you want. You didn't have to wait for it. You didn't have to learn a story about it. You just had to realize that everyone and their mother is in love with Rolex.
So you can buy it.
Now I get to say my $13,000 bought me street cred and the fact that I'm a baller now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know you're wearing a Rolex.
And I was gonna say that, but like, and it sucks because like then there's like people like you that you want to buy the Rolex, you like the Rolex, and you're not buying it for the pretentiousness. Because I feel like Rolex at this point for people to know.
I didn't want to let like Instagram know that I had this for the longest time.
Yeah.
I owned it before we ever talked, like for like how many months before we even talked about it on the podcast.
And I've been telling you, like, post it. It's not, you don't have to make it douchey. You don't have to post it wearing like,
full on suit.
Yeah.
Post it in joggers. That's the coolest thing because they're like, wait, what?
Mikey.
So there's a story.
Why'd you have to do it, Brandon? You got him talking about fucking John Mayer again. The stupid story.
Let's do it.
It's essentially what he said is he would never wanted to buy a Patek.
Yeah.
Because he always found that they were very expensive and he would never have time to wear it until he realized I could go walk to the park with my dog and pick up my dog's shit with a Patek on. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. You just wear the damn
What a wonderful story.
It's a good story. Too bad I've heard it 60,000 times. Almost every time we have someone talking about watches on the show. But no, I think can I hold the 1701? That's one thing I haven't done. I've done it before, like at Red Bar. Sorry, 1703. My bad.
Yeah, try it on.
But
I was gonna say, we saw it at Red Bar.
Yeah, so like the 1703 Wicked, it's
strap,
so much more sharper on. It's a sharper case because it has longer lugs.
Yeah. I can see. Oh, wow.
I bought that watch when I got the Subaru, around the same time.
Oh, I thought you had the Subaru for longer than this.
Literally, I bought the Ming. No, I bought the Subaru. Put the down payment on the Subaru, picked up the Subi, and then the Ming was already. I mean, I was strapped for cash. I mean, think about it. You're putting a down payment on a car, and then you're buying a $2,000 watch. Hopefully,
100%. Your watch thing here. What? How does this?
So it's a
work?
Hermes style buckle. You don't put it through the first one. The first one's just for aesthetic.
Oh,
let's go like that. Yeah. It's just for aesthetic.
Sorry, what's the name of it again?
It's a Hermes style buckle. Hermes style
that's
buckle.
like the brand.
Yeah,
I
like
know
the brand.
Hermes, but I've never seen their buckles before.
Yeah,
and
that strap is custom made, of course. That guy, wristwatch me, my homeboy, Reef is honestly so cool.
It is a really great feeling strap. You know what? I think I might reach out to him for my vintage watch.
You have to.
Oh wow.
You have to.
Oh man,
it's really good. He makes amazing watch straps for a great price point out in Alberta. Cool dude. I even made my Stingray leather bracelet, the exact same matching color.
Yeah, you know what? And I wanted to bring that up. I saw you posting about it. So what have you done here? You've made your own. Are you planning on starting your own line?
That's right.
Oh, very cool.
So I've been waiting some time to really push my own jewelry brand as well. So this is kind of like my first start with that. They're custom Stingray leather bracelets on sterling silver and stainless steel clasps. Right now I just have them on sterling silver. These are like just prototypes. I'm actually selling my the black one to my close friend probably later today.
Very cool.
And so that's the navy blue. This is the black.
Brandon, I gotta say, you know what I love what you did here is with the ends. It's a capped end. It just makes it feel like a solid piece.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is- man.
Yeah,
very
so
cool.
there's a magnet and a clasp latch
Oh,
in
that's
there.
how it's
so
sucked
that's how
in.
it sucks in, and then you clasp it.
very cool.
So I've been long debating doing this for some time,
Mm-hmm.
and 2019 was just like, just get it started. So there will be information
Very
very
cool.
soon.
Yeah.
These are just prototype colors. I'm still working out things with manufacturers out in the East to provide us like consistent color and thickness of material.
I don't know if this is like a trade secret or something. How do you get that reflection? Like, are you seeing it in the light?
Yeah.
Almost as
Is that from the leather?
That's from
That's
the leather.
the
So that's
natural.
stingray, and that's
Wow.
like the little. They're called pearls on the stingray, the little scales,
Little
and they're
nodules.
polished. They polish that leather after they dye it.
Wow.
Very cool.
It's a
Look at
very,
that.
very
Even
cool.
from across the table. Look at how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
reflects in the light. What a brilliant pairing
Sparkles.
for because I'm assuming these are meant to stack.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, and I'll make this very clear even on my Instagram for these things. I'll be taking photos with these guys with stacked on watches, but I do not wear watches stacked with bracelets.
I see.
Let that be clear. I do not do that. I do not care to scratch my watch. I want all of my future clients to do whatever the hell they want. I like wearing bracelets on one side and watches on the other.
I see.
So I stack with bracelets on the other opposite end.
I've tried to stack with bracelets and watches, but I've often found that what ends up happening is it just gets uncomfortable.
It gets uncomfortable.
It kind of it rubs between my cuff because I usually I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt when I do it. I don't stack with short sleeve shirts, and it just ends up rubbing together. And I've never been able to do it. But what I love is that this has its own presence because of that reflective characteristic, and I think that is so cool.
Thanks.
I can't wait. We're gonna get shots of Brandon's watches, but we're also gonna get shots of his new line of bracelets, and all the power to you, man. That is
Thanks.
That is a beautiful piece there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really
so
cool.
I got some new material coming in. Hopefully, I would say a week from today. Probably another week and a half. I just spoke with the manufacturer, and they said that they're custom dyeing the stuff that I wanted. So I'm doing like a light pink, kind of a light pink. I got black coming on the way because that's just cool. This navy is actually harder to find. I got this as just a demo piece, and I couldn't find legit navy. I found more royal blues.
Interesting.
I have a really cool yellow, like that Schumacher yellow.
Oh,
It's coming in
okay.
because it's summertime. I like bright colors. I got a really cool coral orange. I have dope turquoise coming in, some beige, and a wine-colored purpley hue.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
And my first phase is just to do these very clean on bracelet, and then maybe do something with like an accented sterling silver charm. But I like minimalism, and I like the simplicity of just wearing it as is, and allowing your existing jewelry to kind of just go along with it.
I think
Stack it
that
up.
a lot of people, because if you see these on social media, you typically see them on the wrists, like on like people who are posting luxury items.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you have a textured bracelet of some sort of like pelt or whatever you'd call this, a skin.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are going to identify that with the style. And you're right, minimalism works well when it carries itself the way these do. Even sitting on the table, the way I've never held a Stingray before, and I've never seen it. Would you say they did again?
They polished the pearls.
That is, man, sitting on the table. It's such a weird thing because typically that something textured like that will have a dull finish, not shine the way it does, or not even shine, glimmer the way it does, and I think that's really cool on its own.
It has like own little facets on the side. It's really cool. So it's
Very-
an interesting material to work with, and I'm really excited to get more colors. So I'll have a separate website and Instagram running up pretty shortly. Once those new colors come in, and I can take some really nice shots of everything.
I
they're gonna
can't
be
wait for that.
sale. Yeah, thanks.
That's gonna be cool, man. And is it in time for the summer?
It's going to be in time for the summer. As long as
Mint.
I'm getting a head start on it now. I'm flying out to Cabo in May. I would love to take like really nice tan photos by the water. And
I
get
thought you were
those-
going to say, I'd love to kill some stingrays.
Oh, bow! Get the hide, dye it myself. No, forget it. It's cool.
No, but
Yeah.
get some
Get some
photos.
nice photos on vacation with it. But that'd be hilarious. What's that guy doing in the water? Does he know he shouldn't be touching those stingrays?
Steve Irwin, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he was just trying to pet one, but
Yeah,
You know what,
and for the sake, these stingrays are not those big stingrays.
Okay.
These are the height of the stingray is probably the size of this book.
oh,
They're
okay.
very small. These are the
Interesting.
very small, like they're not the. There's different types of stingray, and there's like very large ones. That large one that killed Steve Irwin is probably like, I wouldn't classify as endangered, but probably not the type of one you'd want to kill just for pelt.
I want to get my grandfather one of these, and I'll share you a story why. I think Mikey's heard this story before. My grandparents go to Florida every year.
Oh, cool.
And my grandfather spends his time watching Discovery Channel and fishing.
Yeah.
That's what you do in Florida when you're a senior. So
Or choose.
I'll never forget. Yeah, I'll never forget when one day he took me to the beach and he's fishing. He fishes off of the beach, which is totally illegal, but no one's gonna tell him otherwise. And all the other Italian men are there. They're all in Speedos. They're very old. They're
Yeah,
older men.
old school.
It's the typical thing that
Yeah.
you want to shield your eyes from what these.
hairy.
Yeah. And they're all casting out and fishing right off the beach, and my grandfather snags something heavy. And you can see the rod bending like all the way down to the ground, and they all go around him. They're all cheering him on because they catch like little fish and stuff, but this thing they thought was big. Keeps pulling it and reeling it. It took at least 30 minutes because this was very heavy. You didn't want to break the line, so you have to let it go a little bit.
let it, and
Yeah.
tire it out too.
Exactly. Eventually, he gets it so close you can see the angle of the rod. It's coming closer to the shore, and you expect a fish to flap out, but it's not. It's a fucking stingray.
Wow.
And you see how it waves its what do you call them? It doesn't.
It's like it's
I don't know.
it's like a little skirt almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's so weird because it doesn't like move them like this. It goes like ripples all the way through it,
Yeah.
and you see it flapping on the beach, rippling all the way through, and they all lost their minds. This was right after Steve Irwin died.
Oh my god.
So we see the tail wagging around, and they're pulling it onto the beach with the fishing line. And I'll never forget, they all jump around it. They're all terrified, and they all took turns stabbing it individually with their like fishing knives.
That's
They're
hilarious.
jumping around, bang, one stab, another guy, bang, another stab, because the tail is going around,
Yeah.
and they knew the barb
The
would kill them.
Yeah.
Then they had the thing is dead at this point.
Yeah.
Ugliest animal I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The pelt is beautiful, but like these things look like the devil incarnate.
Yeah, they're
bony.
freaking aliens.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute upside down though.
Yeah,
little
little
smile.
small
Little,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, look at
But
that.
when you look at the bony top, like it looks like something that is clearly trying to protect itself from being eaten. And so finally it's dead. They get the tail, they chop it off, and they dig a hole maybe 3 feet down and toss it in the sand. Now, if you know anything about public beaches, you know that they come by and dig up that sand. They
Yeah.
like with a tractor, they throw
Yeah,
it,
turn
so,
it, yeah.
so that the garbage doesn't always stay on there.
Yeah.
So my dad tells the three old men this, and they all look at each other like, they went in with the knives because again, it's 3 feet down there. If they just dig up with their hands, they're gonna get pricked by this
And then
thing that
get-
still has poison.
Yeah.
So for like 3 hours after they killed that fish, we were digging in the sand trying to find this barb, and my dad brought it home and it disintegrated. So at some point later on, but
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
that's my story with the stingray.
Oh my god.
So I'd love to get my grandfather one of those. just
That'd
to
be
send home,
hilarious. Like, hey, you remember that one time?
remember that guy?
Boom.
There you go. This might be him.
Yeah.
Probably not. Who knows what they did with it? I don't think they cooked it.
They probably let that thing dry out and
Yeah.
shrivel up.
Yeah. Or maybe they treated. Have you ever seen Jeepers Creepers? That movie?
No.
Well, anyway, they kill the villain, but he comes back to life like every 50 years. So they hang him in a barn and with a harpoon pointed at him. And in 50 years, they just plan on pushing the button. And that's how that movie ends. That's probably what my grandfather did with the stingray, just planning on for it to come back to life to haunt him. So he just had it hung up on a wall with a gun pointed at
Oh
him.
god, that's hilarious.
But yeah. No, that's pretty cool, man. Thank you for bringing these wonderful pieces here. I'm so
Oh,
happy
it's
you brought
pleasure.
the Mings.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's where we'll wrap it up for today. What do you think, Mikey?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Well, Brandon, thank you for coming on our show
Oh, it was a pleasure.
and making our morning super fantastic. I hope you had a good time.
It was great. Everything from cool little pop quiz. That racing simulator is
Yeah.
awesome. Oh no, it was great.
Good stuff,
great.
man. And we are definitely going to do some collaboration in the future for sure. I'm excited.
Let's do it up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. You can check us out on Instagram at TimeLaps Podcast. Check out our YouTube. We post these videos. If you're watching this, then you already know. So I guess it's kind of dumb for me to say it into the camera, into the microphone. If you're listening right now, check out our YouTube videos. You get to see Brandon's lovely face and be able to attach a face to that very sensual voice that you heard earlier today. Otherwise,
and what, Brendan? You want to
we
plug your
gotta
Instagram?
plug you. Yeah.
Yeah. My Instagram right now is B412. That's BEFOURTWELVE.
Mouthful.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of everything. The Instagram, the new Instagram for the jewelry line will come soon. So if you've already added me, then you'll probably see that coming soon, and then on YouTube as well. So
we'll definitely show you.
Yeah, we'll
out,
repost everything. Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. How do we typically end these?
I don't know.
always
We
forget.
don't. I just
We
press
don't?
stop.
Okay.
So like, good evening.
All right.
and
Yeah.
Good night.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.